Yo, 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 what's going on, everyone? Welcome into a DFS strategy video for the 2025 Charles Schwab Challenge. My name is Eric, and I'm here to go over everything revolving around the sweet spot process this week. Of course, we do all the general things, all the typical traditional things, like going over the golf course and the tournament information. I'm going to recap even last week's tournament, the PGA Championship, just to go over how well the sweet spot process did. And then we're getting into we'll get into pass optimal and GPP winning lineups before we get into review the PGA Championship. But then after the review, we will do the bucket system, which is unique to the SweetSpot DFS brand. Get into the Marquee Tee Times and then build lineups at the end of the video. So if you want to stick around, I will help build lineups for you. We'll go over the SweetSpot process together and then build lineups following the SweetSpot process. So again, if you're interested, it'll probably be around the 1 hour mark of this video. So if you just happen to be in the chat right now and wondering when that is, letting you know, or if you want to skip ahead, if you're watching this on replay, well, first of all, there's timestamps in the description. Go check them out there. And then just a reminder, this is a live stream, so I do like to interact with the people that are in chat, like AJ Love and Lombardi Lee. What's going on, guys? And of course, any other questions that come through, I basically like to go over my segments, and at the end of each segment, I'll look for any questions or any comments or anything like that, just to see if I can answer on the fly before we get into the next segment. Now, as always, what I like to do at the beginning of every single one of these videos is remind you all that I do giveaways every single week, and that is the wrong giveaway. That is the one thing I forgot to update. This won't take long. I will update it. I'm gonna actually throw this up on the screen in the time being, just to remind you guys, there is a SweetSpotDFS.com giveaway. So if you are interested in a chance to win $1,000, this is available to you. All you have to do, I shouldn't say $1,000, it's $1,000 worth of giveaways. All you have to do is go to SweetSpotDFS.com and just create an account. As simple as that. Okay, I updated it. And basically, here, I'll do it with you guys, just to do this as fast, well, not as fast as possible, but for those that aren't aware, it is very simple, very easy to sign up on SweetSpotDFS.com. I'm just going to use incognito mode because all my stuff is already logged in, so I don't want to mess around with that. And then once you're at the website, oh boy, tried to bring it down. Okay, so once you're at the website, go to log in. Once you're there, you just go to join now. Select the free option right here. Simple, super simple. And then once we get directed to the next page, this is the only information that is asked for of you, is create a username, create a password, and then give me your email address. The email address is what I will pull for that giveaway. And you just hit submit and confirm. That's it. There's no credit card information for free accounts. You do not need to put anything in. I don't store anything that, first of all, I just don't store anything. But in case you're just wondering, well, this seems like a hassle. It's five fields that I need you to enter and 3 mouse clicks. So that's pretty simple. We'll throw that back up on the screen. And basically, once this YouTube channel reaches 1,000 subscribers, I'm going to do this giveaway. There is one lifetime membership worth $600, and that is, you get access to SweetSpotDFS.com for life. And then there is an annual membership, which it's a $200 value for at this present moment, but you will still get 1 year's worth of access to SweetSpotDFS.com, and you get to use all the tools that I will be showcasing in this video. And there's 2 $100 cash giveaways. So in case you are not the type that likes to use websites, there are still monetary gifts that you can get, or giveaways. So again, if you're not subscribed to the channel, do so. That just gets us closer to the goal. And if you don't have an account on SweetSpotDFS.com, go do it. A free entry into the giveaway. So there's all of that available to you. I think I got this fixed. We sure did. So weekly giveaways, I do that every Tuesday during these live streams. It's worth $5. And a way to get an entry is you have to be subscribed and then comment. So I like to do roll calls at every 1 hour mark. And then if you comment down below after this goes to replay, so after it's live, because we're live, so I'm asking you to go into the comment section after the video goes live when it's on replay and leave a comment down there. Just helps the algorithm out. You get an extra entry doing that, so go do it. It's super simple, super easy. And then you get one additional entry. So it rewards yourself. Basically, reward yourself for participating on the channel. And then monthly, I give a membership away to SweetSpotDFS.com. If we reach the goal all the way over there to the left, we're climbing. We're still climbing. We're 13 subscribers away from adding a t-shirt to the monthly membership. So that's like a $50 value, doing the t-shirt and then the membership. So if you're interested in that, subscribe and comment down below. Every one of your entries goes towards the monthly giveaway as well, not just the weekly giveaway. So those things are all that you need to do in order to get giveaways or to get entries in the giveaways. And speaking of giveaway, let's go ahead and run the weekly subscriber giveaway. I have 59 total entries from last week at the PGA Championship. So I appreciate all of you guys that put your requests in, or not so much your requests, but those that participated by commenting either during the live videos or even on any of the ones that I posted. It's pretty good. 59 is a good number. And as you can see from the DFS strategy video to the first look, I think some of you guys were sleeping. The live video that I did, if you went back and you would have commented, you would got an additional entry. So we had 3 people doing it: Joanne, Gabe, and Dave, or David Steele. Thank you, sir, or thank you, folks. But yeah, 59. Let's go ahead and hit that drum roll. Charles Schwab hasn't won in, I swear to God, a year. Almost over a year. And this tournament is pretty much damn near in his backyard. So Charles Schwab, you're basically going to get half of a beer from me. $5. I think I know your information, but comment or reach out to me. A lot of times, Gmail or wherever I end up sending, the money or asking where to send it, that stuff gets stored, but I'm not positive. Not absolutely positive. So reach out to me and let me know where I can send you that money. So $5 goes to Charles Schwab. Again, that guy hasn't won in forever. 4 total entries. Congrats, Charles Schwab. All right, before I get into the video or further into the video, let's go ahead and check out the comments. I did say hi to Lombardi and AJ Love. John Bizzle, what's going on? Good luck to you as well. GD Knight, or good night. What's going on, man? Wheels up. Hello, sir. Nice to see you all in the chat. AJ goes, had the first time ever all golfers missed the cut. Yeah. I had that happen earlier this year, but I build 100 lineups, so it's bound to happen. We'll talk more about the PGA Championship when we get to the review of it. So, all right, we're going to move on. Going into the course and tournament information. So you can go to SweetSpotDFS.com, go under Fantasy Tools, and go to Golf Course Stats to see this page. And basically all you need to do is select the tournament first. So it was on the PGA Championship. So if I were to select that, you can see all this information disappears because it's also selecting the Colonial Country Club. So what you'll have to do is go back into the select tournament, put in the tournament name, Charles Schwab Challenge, and then you'll have to select the Colonial Country Club. I know it's already selected, but in case you didn't know, you'd have to go and select it. So that's where we're at, Colonial Country Club. And all the information that you see on the screen, all of this is driven from the gcsaa.org tournament fact sheets. If you don't know what those are, you can go scroll all the way down at the bottom of my website, tournament fact sheets right here. It's a quick link. Just drill down on that, which I should have opened up a different window. Let me go backwards. I forget every once in a while what actually pops open and what doesn't. So I'll pop that open. It'll direct you to a page that looks like this. This is the tournament fact sheets on the gcsaa.org. You want to go into PGA Tour Charles Schwab, or just the Charles Schwab. Drill down on that, and of course I'll zoom in for you guys. This is where a lot of I validate the data that I have to the tournament fact sheets every single week. Now I will say this: I didn't get the grass lengths down. I will admit that. I can update that after this video if it's different. Greens are cut down to a 1/10 of an inch. Fairways are almost 1/2 of an inch, not even half. I suppose that would be 0.5. Yeah. 1/2 an inch. And then rough's at 2.5. So is that what I have on the site? Greens are down to 1/10. I have fairways at 0.3. So I need to grow those out. And the rough is shorter this year than it was last year, because this is last year's information that I need to update. And it is not on overseed this year. So I also need to update this. Okay. Yeah. Basically, what you need to know is it's going to be on this turf grass right here. Boy, oh my God, I'm on the PGA Championship. Oh boy. Okay, that's interesting to know. So it was already preloaded with the PGA Championship. Okay, here you go. This is what you need to do. Go into Colonial. You see how it's Quail Hollow? That's because the PGA Championship was just selected. Okay. There we go. We're right back at it. Okay, so this data is correct. Woo! I just assumed that I hadn't updated it, but a lot of times my weeks go by so fast that I forget some of the things that I do in the beginning of the week. So I'm glad that it's been updated. Oh, man. Either way, the gcsaa.org is where I validate my information. They work in combination with the PGA Tour to set up the golf tournament for the week. So that is your end-all be-all for any course data you need. But you can also just go to the SweetSpotDFS.com website and find it under golf course stats. Plus, I map out each of the holes, and you can see what shot shapes matter off the tee, on approach, and you have a little summary box right here. So to me, when it comes to these shot shapes, it isn't like a necessity. It's not necessary to hit any of the shot shapes that I have mapped out. Basically, what those shot shapes are there for is to give you an idea of what type of golfer is going to have the best scoring opportunities. I only look at shot shapes that way, scoring opportunities. So at this golf course, it looks like it's kind of a shot maker's golf course. Obviously, if you've heard throughout the industry, hitting a driver on this golf course isn't going to lend yourself to too much of an advantage, because there's a lot of, it's an old golf course. It's, I wouldn't say it's super tight, but there can be very tight areas on the golf course. More accuracy off the tee, or just knowing where to position yourself is going to be very, very important. And again, like I said, you can see how I mapped out the golf course. The shot shapes, hitting it both directions will definitely make you a bit more successful. And it's kind of funny. I was watching, what's it called? I was watching Byron's podcast earlier, and he said, if you know, you know, and it's about Corey Pavin. I don't think it's a surprise that Corey Pavin's in the field. It is a surprise to some extent. He's an old guy, but it is kind of I imagine a prime younger Corey Pavin would be really good at this golf course. And I'd have to look at old data in order to find out if he's had success here. But a lot of the old timers come back to a golf course they've had success because of a sponsor exemption or something. So I imagine that's why Corey Pavin's in the field. This would be a very good prime Corey Pavin golf course, because it is one of those things where shot shaping, if you're good at it, is going to matter. Now, you can hit the ball super straight and definitely take advantage of this type of golf course, because straight balls, if you're executing your shots, that's all that matters. So to me, like a Scotty Scheffler, he doesn't really shape it too far in either direction. He mostly hits a straight ball, but fading the ball is his primary shot shape. Jordan Spieth, on the other hand, or actually, let's use Tommy Fleetwood since he's the second most expensive golfer in the field. He draws the golf ball primarily, but if he, clubs down and finds some of those apexes of the dog legs, perfect. He's going to be just fine. So, yeah, it's definitely a shot shaper's golf course. Let's put it that way. Now, if you want to know why, if you're interested as to why I talk about this, well, I do provide in my cheat sheet, which you can go to SweetSpotDFS.com, go under cheat sheet. You do not have to be a paying member for this. And it's going to come to a page that looks like this. So for here, all I ask you to do is you can use this. I know it's incomplete. It looks kind of messy, but you can certainly use this. It shows you recent form and course history with last year's result. This is basically the same type of pages that I look at on Google Sheets. But you can scroll down here to this cheat sheet and just click here. This will open up the cheat sheet I provide you on Google Sheets. You don't need an account. You can use this. This is free for everybody. If you want to mark it up and edit it however you want, all you have to do is go to the File menu and go down to Make a Copy. I don't know if you can see it on the screen. No, it's just above Share. So Make a Copy is just above there. And then you can mess around with it all you want. But here I do have shot shapes for some of the golfers. Now, not everybody. Again, if you've been here before, I tend to say this like, dang, I keep forgetting that I need to update these things. We all know Aaron Rai hits a fade. We all know that. But you can see most of the shot shapes here. Really, to me, shot shapes are just one of those things that's a tiebreaker between two golfers you like. I'll try to work on this and get it more completed throughout the week, and just so I have it. But yeah, you can get some of the golfers there. And when it further into the future, that will be way more completed, and it'll be on the website. It'll be at SweetSpotDFS.com. Under golfer profiles, I will have a page for that. I've been working on it. I've been working on a lot of things for the website. So hopefully I can show some of those updates here shortly. A lot of it's back end stuff, so you just can't see anything. It's way of life type of fixes that I'm making or updates that I'm making to make the website run more efficiently, and for the tools to update basically to what I want them to look like. So there we have it. That is your golf course update for this course and information segment. For the tournament, we have 132 golfers in the field. So it's not a limited field. It's not a full-on full field. I'm surprised they haven't opened this up to 156 golfers because when was it? It was a couple weeks ago. We had our first 156-man field. And at the PGA Championship, we had a 156-man field. So usually these types of events are like invitationals, something that's like 132. Maybe that's why. The fact that it's not an open, like you had the Houston Open, then you had the Texas Open. Those types of golf courses probably have, or those type of golf tournaments probably have a bit more golfers in it because of the qualifying aspect to it. So maybe that's why we don't have it here. So it's kind of like an invitational. So it's not a full-on full field, but it's certainly not a limited field. Let's put it that way. It's top 65 in ties. So that's about half of the field. So we have a fighting chance for those that, like AJ Love saying he, all 6 of his golfers missed the cut last week. It happens. This week might be a bit more friendly, so looking forward to that. Now, the only other thing I like to talk about with the tournament information is the strength of field rating. This is one of the updates I've been making to the website, is to be able to create a filter on the website for strength of field. Now, I have most of it updated. The only thing is the OWGR went to a new system, where the new system is, I'd have to go look into the exact definitions and wording of it, but Yeah, it's very confusing, and I don't like it because they didn't go and update any of their old tournaments with the strength of field. So basically, it went all the way up to 2022, I think, or 2023, all the way up until like the Wyndham Championships of one of those two weeks, and it was the old school way all the way up into that tournament, and then they switch it to the new school. And really, how are you able to tell based off of strength of fields from previous tournaments in the past to tournaments now in the present? So I've been trying to keep track of all of that, and I do have the old school equation within about 10 points. Like they had some kind of home field advantage bonus and stuff like that. If you had X amount of golfers from inside the top 5, top 10 of the OWGR, they'd get additional points. Well, I didn't know how to calculate that. I just had the base layer of calculation. And when I compare my strength of field to what the OWGR used to have, it's always within 10 points. And to me, I think that's just fine. It is more than okay. Anyways, I keep track of this. I do the old school way. So 408 is the strength of field, which is higher than most tournaments. And that's primarily because Scottie Scheffler is in the field. But if we take a look at last year, it was 451. So technically this year is a little weaker than last year. 452 in 2023. And then in 2022 was 472. So this is actually a little weaker than typical Charles Schwab challenges. So do that with whatever you will. I don't have a comp as to what kind of strength of field that is. If you take Scottie Scheffler out of here, the strength of field basically goes down to 350, 360, something like that. Which is just, I think that's about just a bit north of what a typical PGA Tour event is on any given tournament that isn't a signature event. So call it medium strength of field, I suppose. And that's it. That's all I have for the tournament information. You guys all kind of, I looked at the chat for a second and I saw what you guys wrote. Complete distraction. Which is, it's totally fine. But yeah, I knew DGen 75 was definitely sick and was not doing well. And it's unfortunate that he passed away. Definitely an innovator when it comes to the DFS golf stuff. I absolutely enjoyed his way of performing. It was definitely unique, very entertaining. It wasn't always my cup of tea, so I didn't really pay attention to a lot of what he was doing. And when I heard the news, I was like, man, that sucks, because yeah, he was a trailblazer, and there's a bit of his what do you call, his production value that I think is super good. Like I follow, like I have no issue what am I trying to say here? I have no issue admitting this. Like even to this day, I still watch video game streamers. Like when I'm bored and I've got nothing to watch, instead of watching a TV show, I'll watch a video game streamer. The only reason like that still gets me hooked onto that kind of stuff isn't the gaming aspect of it, it's the production aspect of it. And that's where, like, you know, the soundboard, when I put the soundboard in here, where we have, you know, I typically put in like this for what's his name, Ryo Hisatsune. A lot of this soundboard stuff comes from that. And James was he was one of the first like big streamers to do that in PGA DFS. So when I first came across his show and then saw that he was doing that, I was like, damn, he beat me to the punch, because that was like what I wanted to do. I wanted to be one of the first ones to do it, but he definitely had the innovation to do that before anybody else. And that's I mean, that's a testament to his creativity. I do enjoy it. And I think, you know, I mean, he'll forever be missed. I also noticed, and I'm segueing here, I also noticed that I forgot to share this on the on the Twitter world, and that's where I kind of found James, was on Twitter X. So don't mind me. I'm gonna do this really quick. Real quick. Bad marketer, this guy here. New guy. Okay. All right. Posted. I watch a game who says he makes... I watch a gamer... Oh, gamer who says he makes 300K a year from playing games on YouTube. I'm like, what am I doing with my life? Well, you got to be entertaining, you know, while you're doing it. So, but anyone can basically do it. What I love most was his approach to not getting bogged down with simply making choices. He focused more on process. Yeah. I mean, don't we all? He taught and helped a lot. Yeah. Yeah. And I think one of the greatest things that I ever heard him do, of the people who had a voice in this industry, when he said, we don't play donkey chalk unless we do, is a very good testament. Because if you listen to a lot of the higher up people, they just focus on game theory because it's the only stat they can accurately predict is ownership. But ownership doesn't predict results. It's never going to predict results. It's just one of those things to stay away from. So I actually appreciated when James would talk about, you know, hey, not all donkey chalk is bad chalk. You know, you want it. You should be playing it if you think it's a good play. So I enjoyed that type of transparency that he provided. All right, we'll talk more later. Let's just continue to get through this throughout each of the segments. So the very next one to do is the pass optimal and GPP winning lineups. And of course, I like to use SweetSpotDFS.com to do this. I have 2 pages, 2 tools that you can use to look at past optimal salaries, GPP winning salaries, or even the SweetSpot optimals, which always beat out the GPP winner and use $49,600 of the salary and above. So we have this page, which is historic salaries. You can find that under past salary builds. I should probably change that just to avoid confusion. And then the pass optimal and GPP winners, you can find that on the drop down under pass optimals. So what I like to do here is just get a relative sense of what's going on. And oh, by the way, if you're not on the cheat sheet already, I'm going to show the cheat sheet right now. The most expensive golfer is Scottie Scheffler. And I wanted to spend some time. I think I wanted to open this video with saying, finally. This is where I want DraftKings to get to. Scottie Scheffler might be the first golfer not in the Tour Championship to be priced up to $14,000 in one of these events. I think $14,000 is the absolute ceiling that you can price a golfer. But if you think about it, is Scheffler twice the golfer most of these 7K golfers are? By far, I would say. Absolutely. I love this. I swear to God, this makes me happy to have him at $13,700 and the cheapest golfer at $6,000, the Stone Min 6. This is where DraftKings should always, this should be their lowest price that they ever use, is $6,000. Dropping into the 5K range is so incredibly stupid. Like, I get it I get it because, you know, DraftKings, they want casuals to come in and have fun. They want them to build a decent lineup with Scheffler and a few 6K golfers. Well, last week, my website, it was the first time that it saw the type of optimal lineup that it had. And let's see, can I show that? Let's go and let's take a look. I'm going to type in PGA Championship. I'm going to remove the Charles Schwab Challenge and just look at 2025. The optimal lineup was a 10, 7, 7, and 3 6Ks. Scottie Scheffler was $13,400. 10, 7, 7, 6, 6, 6. When I was adding this, when I was updating the website, like I have a, like what do I call it? I identify, or I give an identifier to each of these salary builds so I can do an active count on them. This is the first time this ever showed up, this type of lineup build. Yeah, at that PGA Championship, there were a lot of 6K golfers, 5 and 6K golfers inside the top 10, inside the top 20. So going with Scottie Scheffler, who obviously won and you wanted to have him on your team, but you could have also built a lineup. If I go to this past optimal lineup or this page and go, if I put in PGA Championship and we go to 2025, and which lineup was it? Was it the SweetSpot Optimal? Yeah. Check this out. Scotty Bryson. Bryson wasn't the second most expensive golfer, but he was the third most expensive golfer in the PGA Championship field. But this is how you can get those two expensive guys and then drop down into this 6K range. Now, I told you it was a, for the optimal lineup, this is what the optimal lineup looked like, by the way. 10, 7. Technically, this $6,800 golfer was a 7K golfer based off of the adjustments that I made. The price conversion that I did last week, 6,800 became a $7,000 golfer. And the rest of these guys were 6Ks, high 6Ks. 55, 6, 6-1, 6-8. Now, Harris English won the Farmers Insurance Open. He's not a prototypical 6K golfer. And so, I mean, the price conversion showed he's not a 6K. He if you were to convert him to a normal DraftKings salary, he would have been somewhere in the $7,200, $7,300 range. And like Davis Riley being $6,100, that would have boosted him up to $6,800, $6,900. Actually, do I still have the price conversion up? I think I do. Yeah, I didn't make updates to this. So if I scroll down and we take a look at Davis Riley, yes, $6,800 is what a normal adjusted salary would have been, like in a normal field. Would have been $6,800. Who was the other guy I was talking about? Harris English. Okay, 71. So it would have went like 71, 68. I already forgot who the other golfers were. We had Gerard and Johnny Vegas. Gerard right here. So that's two $6,800 golfers basically. And then Johnny Vegas would have been a 65. So essentially you'd go 71, 68, 68, 65. That's what a normal event would have been. And then you had Scotty and Bryson. 12-4, 10-8 is basically what I would have had him as. So the fact, like this is a typical DraftKings salary. This week, if I go back to the dream sheet, this week, 13-7. It's insane. It's insane. And I love it. I'm here for it. This is exactly what I was hoping DraftKings would do. So now we don't have that 5K range. We have a very, very big question to ask ourselves. Is this the time where Scottie Scheffler does not pay off his price tag? And it is quite possible. I mean, if we go to previous, this is what I like about the website. If we go to previous GPP winning lineup. So if we go to 2024 and we take a look at the GPP winning lineup, it scored 521.5 points. That's actually not that high considering. It's really not that high. 521.5 points. I wonder, what was the PGA Championship? Was that about the same? 528. Yeah, it was nearly identical. So scoring isn't going to be very easy. Position points are going to be more important this week. So again, it probably screams to play Scottie Scheffler this week. I mean, I don't know why I wouldn't. So it's 521.5 that won the GPP last year. 496 that won the year before that. 498 that won the year before that. 556. Yeah. So it's going to be like a low a low scoring event. Unlike the Houston Open this year. Let me take a look at the Houston Open. What was the Houston Open? 647. So yeah, 100 points more. Almost 150 points more. And then what was the tournament that Scheffler just won? Was it the Texas Open? No, was it? I don't think it was it? Oh, it was the Byron Nelson. 2025 Byron Nelson. That was 751. That's 250 more points, but Scottie Scheffler was your winner in that tournament. Yeah, it kind of just, it kind of reeks of Scottie Scheffler. This is another, I mean, obviously, I'm not really going out on a limb saying Scottie Scheffler is the golfer you want to be anchoring your lineups around. But what I would say is, taking a look at some of these salaries that did perform well last year, Davis Riley won at $5,800 and Scheffler was $13,300 and he finished second. Scheffler was in the GPP winner lineup and the optimal and the GPP winner. So if you're worried about using Scheffler, now he was 13.7 by the way, and I heard Byron talking about this on his podcast. If you were to use him, you immediately have to drop down into the 6K range. But unlike last year where there was a 5K range, we don't have a 5K range this year. Having an 8K golfer, if you were to go Scottie down to even a 9K golfer, you're probably going to have to play 3 6K golfers. And quite frankly, I don't think that's the option you need to do this week. We're going to build lineups here towards the end. And I was fiddling around with the optimizer before jumping live. And what I found out is that 50% of the time it chose Scheffler, 50% of the time it didn't. 50% of the time it went for a more balanced build. Because Scheffler being as good as he is, and this is again why I like the price tag of Scottie Scheffler this week, is you can't just blindly jam him in, although it seems like you can, and perhaps you still can, but you do have to put more thought this week than any other week that Scottie Scheffler has played before. So it is interesting. And you want to know something? I think Scottie Scheffler showing the fire that he did at the PGA Championship, the fact that the Byron Nelson, winning the Byron Nelson meant a lot to him. I bet you anything this Charles Schwab Challenge means a lot to him as well. And I don't think he's won this tournament before. He finished third in 2023. He finished second last year. I do not even see him inside the top 5. Oh, he finished second in 2022. So yeah, he has not yet won this tournament. Whoo! Yeah, I could see Scottie just burning. He missed the cut in 2021. Yeah, I think he's definitely motivated to win this tournament. I bet you anything he wants to win all the Texas events. I guarantee you it. I bet you he wants to win all of the Texas events, which means the Houston Open is next. And he didn't get to win the Minwoo Lee beat him out, Houston Open. So yeah, this has turned into a Scottie Scheffler segment, but it is very important to go over Scottie Scheffler at his price tag because we need to figure out, is it a viable play this week? Like, is it logistically smart or sound to play Scottie Scheffler? And it's definitely on a 50-50. And like I said, the optimizer did that. And I'll show you. The optimizer built 50% lineups with Scottie, and this is without me even including any criteria, no ownership, nothing, no exposure rate. I mean, so no limitations, no restrictions, no limitations. 50% of the time, it did pick Scheffler. So, despite how good he ranks in the models, it now is at that perfect thresh point. I swear to God, like it makes me so happy to see him at 13,700 because now. They're for me at least, and I know people at a smaller price tag were like, oh, he's got to pay off his price tag. This is where I think that actually comes into play. This is actually true. The other times, that's just people speculating because they don't know anything better. this week is definitely, this is the price tag that definitely matters. Anything north of 13.6 and above, it's definitely paying off the price tag. So when you are at SweetSpotDFS.com, there are some filters you can use to help you figure out what type of lineup, if you were to put Scottie Scheffler in your lineup, what type of build would work best. Now, on this historic salary builds, there are over 1,000 different records, or there's 1,000 records, I should say. And of those 1,013 records, 1098 776 is the most found lineup build within the GPP winning lineup, the optimal lineup, and the Sweet Spot optimal. So it's all three of them combined. Just throwing that out there. If you wanted to come here and do your own research, which I absolutely recommend, if you were more focused on what the GPP winner did, all you got to do is just drill down on the GPP winner button right there, and it's only going to show you GPP winners, which, by the way, the most frequent lineup is a 1098 776 when it comes to GPP winning lineups. And then it's a 1088 776, 1098 777. You can see the rest right here. All of them start with a 10K golfer though, 10K and above. That's what my 10K range counts for, 10K and above. But anyways, you can look at any of these. Now, to be more specific and more exact with your research, use the filters. And so what the max salary here is saying, what was the most expensive golfer in that lineup? So you can use the filters here to really hone in on, you know, again, Scottie lineups. So if I put 13,300 and hit enter, it's going to remove 1,000 lineups. There's only been 13 lineups where there's been a golfer price at $13,300 and above in the max line, or as the max salary in a lineup. So if I just look at these builds, right in this segment here is your summary. So this will show you the most frequent lineup builds: 10, 10, 8, and 3 6s, or a 10, 8, 7, 7, and 2 6s. Well, I'm going to throw up the optimizer right now, just to show you guys. I got to close this other one down. So if we put Scottie Scheffler in here, can we build a 10K? Okay, I'll show you what the first Scottie Scheffler lineup looks like using the Sweet Spot process. It almost uses an 8K golfer, almost. Ryan Gerard at $7,900. Now I'm going to remove Matty Schmidt from being kicked out, and I'm going to bring him back. Delete that. And I'm going to force the optimizer to choose an 8K golfer. Now the bucket system wants me to choose one 7K, and I think we still can if we go 10-8. But let's see what kind of lineup it would look like if we can even. Oh yeah, and this isn't terrible. Look at this lineup. I don't like Matt Kuchar. I wouldn't want to play Matt Kuchar. But we have Harry Hall, which we'd probably do better than Harry Hall, right? Let's get rid of Harry Hall and see what the next best lineup would be. JJ Spawn at 84, and that lineup doesn't look terrible. Again, I don't like Matt Kuchar. Okay, so Matt Kuchar's getting the boot. Let's take a look at the next one. Victor Perez. Sure. So I can go Scottie down to an 84, 2 low 7s, and 2 high 6s. We don't have to have 2 high 6s. That's just the optimizer finding the best value amongst golfers in those price ranges. Can we do a 10-9-7? We can. Wow. Okay. Very interesting. I mean, that's not a terrible lineup either. You still have Vegas and Thorbjornsen with Aaron Rai. See, what can we do another one? I want to see someone like 64. Okay, there we go. There's a $6,400 golfer. And then we get Ryo Hisatsune to go with Johnny Vegas. But it's Aaron Rai. What if I kick out Aaron Rai? Like the Sweet Spot process is it can get very narrow if you make narrow conditionals, and it will break if it can't find. And this Keith Mitchell at 9K. So I'm not going to spend a bunch of time. We can continue building lineups later, but the fact of the matter is you can still build quality lineups, starting with Scottie. Now I know it was a low 9K golfer. You know who my favorite golfer to like I would want to pair him up with is with Mav McNeely. I want to see what this looks like, and maybe even Hideki. Doesn't break, but you get Brandt Snedeker. I don't want Brandt Snedeker. Will Gordon, sure. I don't mind playing Will Gordon. $6,100 Will Gordon is just fine. Now I don't. Yeah, I mean, there's not a super high upside. Ryan Palmer, stay away from Ryan Palmer. I know he's a Texas boy. That guy has been playing some terrible golf. Camilo, So you can see what the optimizer is doing, and I bet you most optimizers are doing the same thing if you're trying to shoot them in there. There you go, wheels up. We get a Jackson Suber lineup, and I don't mind Adam Schenk. That's not terrible. Okay, I probably spent way too much time on that, but I wanted to give you an idea of what Scotty Scheffler lineups would look like. Now, that's not a 10-10 that I just did. It was a 10-9. And you can see there's been one instance where there was a 10-9, 7-7, 6-6. That was at last year's RBC Heritage for the optimal lineup. So it's been an optimal lineup before. Not saying one instance is just good enough, but I think we are kind of finding ourselves in some new uncharted waters. We haven't seen a price tag this high in a normal event. So it's like, what do we do with that? Can we build lineups that way? Is it even reasonable? So I just showed you some lineups, and I'm showing you right now at SweetSpotDFS.com. If you use a golfer whose price tag is over $13,300, what do normal lineups look like? And actually, we can add one more filter to this that I forgot to. This min salary is, what was the cheapest golfer in your lineup? So I want the floor to be at $6,000. And that even cuts it more. So we had 13 lineups, 7 got cut, and there's only 6 left. Yep, the 10-9, 2 7s, and 2 6s. That's basically the lineup that I just built for you guys. 10-8, 2 7s, and 2 6s. As you can see, there's not one that has 3 6K golfers in it. So that's worth mentioning. Is it, if you're going to play Scotty, do you want to pair him up with 3 6Ks? And the evidence shows that you do not. You do not want to pair him up with 3 6Ks. Now, if you want to do more analysis, I implore you guys to do this. You guys can. I will have to add more filters to this, so you can also use price tags and stuff like that when it comes to the most expensive golfer, the cheapest golfer, all that good stuff. But what you can do is go between the 2 pages and take a look at, you know, I suppose it's not really going to let you. It's only looking at the 3 types of winning lineups. Either way, you could go here. Look at that, 2025 Byron Nelson. All 3 of those lineups are right here. Optimal, GPP, and SweetSpot. And that was just obviously not too long ago. And then the RBC Heritage. Limited field event there. Byron Nelson was not. And the PGA Championship from this year was not. Yeah, I guess I don't have the filters for you guys to actually use this page to find all Scotty Scheffler 13,000s. But what you could do is just type in Scotty Scheffler and not put that, and just look at the events that he did play that aren't called the Tour Championship, and just, you know, put that into your filtering process. So let's, like the 2024 Texas Children's Houston Open. Let's take a look at that. So just clear filters, and we'll go Texas Children's Open. It's the Houston Open. Sorry, Texas Children's Houston Open 2024. And just look at the salaries that are up here. You have 13 as for Scotty Scheffler. He was not in the GPP winning lineup that week, by the way. You can see that indicated right here. But you got Jaeger 89, Finau 99. Basically, I want to see where all the cheap golfers are. $5,300 Alejandro Tosti, $5,500 David Skins, $6,300 Max Grazerman. So those are 3 golfers that are $6,300 and below that you could pair up with the $13,000 Scotty Scheffler and either Jaeger or Finau, but there were 3 of them, just 3 of them. And I guess Nick Dunlap, who was $5,800. You can consider him as well. The reason behind this exercise is to talk about how expensive or how many cheap golfers can you use. And it looks like you could use 4 cheap golfers. Now, again, these are price conversions because of a 5K range. I bet you anything $5,800 golfer would have turned into be probably a $6,200, $6,300 golfer. 55, that was just like Johnny Vegas at the PGA Championship. That'd probably be a $6,500 golfer. 63 is now you're kind of speaking like low 7K range, and Thomas Dietrich would have been like a $7,800 golfer. So, and then 53, that'd have been that would actually been a low 6K golfer. So you'd had one low 6K, one high 6K, another high 6K, David Skins, and then a 7K. So yeah, you would have had three 6Ks. 2 high 6s, 1 low 6. Low 6 meaning 6,400 and below. High 6K meaning 6,500 to 6,900. So yeah. Okay. It's worth noting because I have not yet built my lineups like that. Currently on the optimizer, I do have it currently filtered out to only have up to 2 6Ks, but I can change that to have 3 6Ks. And now if I were to go Scotty Scheffler and say Mav McNeely, what would this look like? Because I'm sure it would have like 3 6Ks now to be the most optimal. And it does. Johnny Vegas at 72, Whaley at 67, Fishburne at 60. This is exactly the same type of lineup I just showed you. Be the exact same lineup I just showed you. Talking about just the Texas Children's Houston Open, which again is just an idea. I'm not saying just because I see this lineup that this is the way. This is the only way to build lineups with Scotty Scheffler. It is probably the most logical way to build lineups with Scotty Scheffler. It isn't the absolute only way to build lineups with Scotty Scheffler, but if you were wondering, could it work out? Yes, it can. I mean, it's also worth noting at the top of that leaderboard was a $9,900 golfer and an $8,900 golfer. So if you are playing a contest against a lineup that has those 2 golfers in it, they're going to score more points than Scotty Scheffler if Scotty doesn't win the tournament or if he finishes behind them. So you have to, this is one of those weeks where it's like, does Scotty win and by how much? Because if he wins by a landslide, then yeah, you do want him in your lineup. There have been moments where this year, by the way, where the first place guy, when it just came to raw DraftKings points, did not outscore the second place guy. And I think, this is going to be one of those, alternate events, but I think it was the 2025 Myrtle Beach Championship. We just go raw points. Oh boy, what did I do? Okay. This was not the correct tournament. I'm not sure which one it was. It wasn't the Myrtle Beach. Was it the Truist? No, it was not. Well, now I'm just fishing in the dark and I don't want to waste your guys' time. But I do remember there being a tournament. Oh, well, I'm not going to, like I said, I'm not going to waste your guys' time. But it is possible that someone in second or third place could outscore the person in first place. And if that still happens to be Scotty Scheffler, he probably doesn't, he might not be a better person to put in your lineup. Now, of course, this is all speculation that everybody does all the time. So I'm not going to, it is a bit of a waste of time. My apologies. I just realized what's the point. Personally, I think you play Scotty Scheffler. I currently have my exposure set to Scotty Scheffler at 59%. I don't want to play him more than 59% of my lineups, and I don't even care if that is where the threshold is. I'm not one of those believers that say you have to be more overweight than the field. I don't care. Like what a lot of people in this industry says, it's one lineup that has to beat everybody else. One lineup. So even if you get Scotty Scheffler correct, you got to get the other 5 pieces correct too. So it doesn't matter if you own them in 10% of your lineups, 20% of your lineups, 30% of your lineups, 40%. You still need to get the other 5 correct. And you could actually be on the absolute wrong guys. So, I mean, these are things you probably have already heard, but just reiterating that, yeah, you could still get it right with Scotty, but you could get it wrong with your lineup building. So throwing that out there. And I guess it might be easy. Never mind. Not going more into that. Not going more into that. If you want to do more research, go to SweetSpotDFS.com. So this is behind a paywall. So both these salary tools are behind a paywall. If you are a YouTube member, if you are a white tier member and above, so you got to pay $4.99 and above. If you are a white tier member and above, you get $5 off of a month at SweetSpotDFS.com. Because again, I don't want to charge anybody more than $20 to use SweetSpot DFS tools, including YouTube. So just wanted to mention that because last week, I think there was a bit of a confusion with me and Joanne, where she was doing her best to get access to the live stream video as well as the members only video, which also is another thing that you have to pay the $4.99 for the white tier member. Or you know what? If we can get this video to 25 likes, I will give out 5 free YouTube memberships. So throwing that out there. I think that's it. Let me check the chat. I didn't really see a lot. Oh yeah, there were a lot. Dang. AJ goes, I can't remember a tournament where so many top guys missed the cut. It was alarming. You talking about the PGA Championship? Yeah, that happens. I'm furious about Gerard as Smalley. I always play those guys. Oh, you didn't play Gerard. I see. And then Smalley wasn't even a part of the DraftKings pool. You couldn't even have played him. He was a late add. Johnny Vegas, round 1 leader, was shocking. You know what's kind of funny? There was a lot of Johnny Vegas love going out there, and the optimizer did choose Johnny Vegas quite a bit. Of course, you know, recency bias gets involved, and just knowing that in the beginning of the year Johnny Vegas was not good at golf kind of hurts you. If you know too much, sometimes it hurts you. And that's one of those times where I'm like, yeah, I did play Johnny Vegas. I played Johnny Vegas in 6 lineups. 6. 0 of them had 6-6 make it through the cut. And maybe 2 of them had Scheffler. So it was Scheffler and Vegas, but I think those 2 lineups had 2 guys miss the cut. So again, it's about getting 6 golfers correct. Not just 1, not just 2. But like I've heard around the industry, lots of golfers or lots of people had 4 of 6 make the cut and min cashed, which is awesome. My Millie Maker lineup had 2 guys miss the cut, and that min cashed. Where the other 3 guys, or the other 3 lineups that I had, where I thought they were better, one of them being a Scotty Scheffler lineup, had more than 2 miss the cut, and it was not good. Subaru is your lowest. Wheels up. You'll explain your 3 core later. Okay. You're on it seriously. Scotty 14K on FanDuel. Yeah. You know what's sad is one, I wish I would have tracked FanDuel statistics from the very beginning. But one of the reasons why I didn't, and for those people wondering why I don't have FanDuel stuff, FanDuel doesn't make it easy to have their data. So whereas DraftKings, you can always export any sheet after the results have been done, you can't do that on FanDuel. Or you couldn't for the longest time. I don't know if they let you right now, but you couldn't for the longest time. So I would never be able to actually get the salary data or the FanDuel points or anything like that. I would never be able to get that from FanDuel. So that is why I don't have FanDuel on my computer. Now, if you or on the website, if you do know somebody who has FanDuel data, I'd be very much interested in purchasing stuff, or working in partnership, something like that. Let's get them likes up. Trey says sup. Yeah, Joanne, we talked about James earlier. Good evening, Joanne. I saw that you had to bring your daughter to the hospital. I think it was your daughter, right? Daughter or sister? I think it was daughter. Hope all is good, Joanne. Hope all is good. All right. Let's go ahead and let's do a review. So I'm going to bring it to this page, which will pull this up again, whatever. PGA Championship. I made money. I didn't lose money, which was awesome, but not extremely profitable for me, which is fine. Doesn't always have to be extremely profitable, but like I said, I made my money back and then some, so that was good. I had, I think, 30%, or wait, what was it? Scottie Scheffler was the most owned golfer in all of my lineups, and I think it was 35%, something like that. Something like that. I can't remember off the top of my head, but it was decent. Actually, you know what? I think I actually still have it open. Oh, I wouldn't be able to know because I deleted a lot of the information off it. Never mind. Either way, here is the SweetSpot process from last week. This is the summary page, the bucket system that I will be showing you for the Charles Schwab Challenge. So the PGA Championship, what we want to look at on this page is just right here. It says this year's totals. You can see the success of a bucket, whether it was a yes would indicate, or a Y would indicate yes, and N would indicate no. And as you can see on the screen, there were 3 no's. Technically, one of those no's should not be a no. And that's this one here that's highlighted. The strokes gained 4 bucket. Now, if you've been around the channel long enough, you know that I always want a 2-point buffer between the minimum and the maximum predictions or projections. This says 0.54 and this says 0.90. Well, you can't go any lower than 0, so the minimum will be 0. The maximum will be 2. So therefore, we want at least 2 golfers to either be inside the top 10 or the optimal lineup. And you can see 2 of them were in the optimal lineup. So technically, this bucket should be correct. I didn't add that into the coding to determine whether it was a success or not, because it's a lot of coding you have to do. So we can just eyeball these ones that have these one-off scenarios. And that's definitely one of them. This bucket, though, that failed. And that has a lot to do with how many 6K golfers were in the optimal lineup. There were 3 when I said you didn't want more than 2. And then up here, when it comes to golfers who did not play in the PGA Championship last year, we had 3 of those guys in the optimal, 4 of them in the top 10, but the projection was 0 to 2. So therefore, that bucket failed as well. Now, what you will see in this column is SSO. That means SweetSpot Optimal. I also create a SweetSpot Optimal, and in that Optimal, it does follow these rules. So the whole purpose is, if we follow the SweetSpot process, can we take down a GPP? And this week for the PGA Championship, it was the Millionaire Maker. So first prize was $1 million. We take a look at that lineup. It used $50,000 of the salary, and it scored 528.5 points. It had Scottie Scheffler in it, Harris English, Taylor Pendrith, Neiman, and Bradley. I was off of Neiman, so congrats to all those that were on Neiman. He helped someone win $1 million. And then Cameron Davis, $6,300. Cameron Davis. That was a really good lineup. It scored 528.5, like I said. The optimal scored 564, so about a 40-point difference, 36-point difference. 528 was the GPP. The SweetSpot optimal was 552, which was 12 points below the optimal and 24 points above the GPP winner. So following the SweetSpot process, you could have got on this lineup of Scheffler, Jon Rahm, Siwoo Kim, Harris English, which would have been a 7K golfer. using the conversion, what I called it, right? The conversion. Yeah, price conversion. I knew there was a P in there, price conversion. So Harris English would have been a 7K golfer like we talked about. He would have been $7,100 in a normal DraftKings event. And then you had Davis Riley as well as Johnny Vegas, which were two 6K golfers. So it would have been a 10-10. Or no. I'm sorry. John Rahm is a 9K golfer in this price conversion. It'd have been a 10-9, 2 7s, and 2 6s. I go back to the Pass Optimal, this one right here, clear filters, and just go 2025 PGA. I will show you what it was. So SweetSpot Optimal, 10. Did I do that wrong? I think I did that wrong. Okay. I'll have to go back in and change this. It should be 10-9. Because if I use the conversion, John Rahm is right here in the 9K range. Okay, well, I need to go back and update that one. I would have considered him a $9,700 golfer. Oh boy. I know I updated it correctly somewhere. I'm not sure how it got into the website incorrectly, but here we are. Do I? Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Did I mix up the GPP winner and the SweetSpot Optimal? I think I did. No, I'll look into it and I'll fix it. I'll fix it. That's unfortunate. Either way. Where am I at? Okay, way over here. Jeez. Couldn't find the tab that I needed to click on. PGA Championship. I told you the points outscored the GPP winner. The only other thing to show you are the Marquee Tee Times. Marquee Tee Times are what we'll be getting into for the Charles Schwab Challenge. And basically, it's the top 9 groups in a golf tournament. And it's based off of how they model. So basically, a group of 3 golfers, I take their model scores individually and I add them together. And then I rank them. I group rank them based off of which golfers in that group have the most points. And the first group was Scottie Scheffler. He was in the optimal, he was in the SweetSpot Optimal, and he was in the GPP winning lineup. Now, the black tick mark here indicates an optimal lineup golfer. There are no other optimal lineup golfers in the Marquee Tee Times. So technically, the Marquee Tee Times failed. But like I told you, the SweetSpot process follows the Marquee Tee Times. You have John Rahm in here. John Rahm was in the SweetSpot Optimal. You had Keegan Bradley in here in the Marquee Tee Times. He was in the GPP winner. So there were 2 golfers from the Marquee Tee Times in the GPP winning lineup. Now, again, the rules with the Marquee Tee Times is you want 2 to 4 golfers to put your to anchor your lineups around with the Marquee Tee Times. And don't get me wrong, Bryson was very close to being an optimal lineup golfer. Very close. Obviously, being $11,500, Scottie Scheffler outscored him by nearly 30 points. And therefore, you wouldn't need to use Bryson. And there weren't enough cheap golfers around the top 10, top 5 to anchor your lineups around those guys and then also add Bryson into the mix. But either way, the SweetSpot Optimal followed the Marquee Tee Times, and that took down the GPP. So therefore, altogether, when we combine everything, again, the SweetSpot process follows the bucket system, all of the bucket projections. It follows the Marquee Tee Times. For the most part, it also follows the salary structures that we put in place as well, but it's not that strict. It takes down the GPP winner pretty handily. So I know this is a bit, hindsight, but basically, if you would have anchored your lineups around Scottie and John Rahm, which I did, if you were there in the Wednesday live members only video that I was streaming, I told you what my strategy was, and I started building lineups this way. I basically put all the 10K golfers together. Here, I'll show you. I'll sort this by salary from top to bottom. So basically, any of these 10K golfers, this is what I did. If they weren't paired up together like Scotty, Rory, and Xander were, so I just skipped those guys, but I put about 5 lineups with Scotty and Bryson in. And I put 5 lineups with Scotty and Ludwig in. And then I put 5 lineups with Scotty and Colin in. And then I put 5 lineups with Scotty and John Rahm in. So technically, I only had 5 out of the 150 lineups that I created, because I ended up creating about 150 last week. And only 5 of them had Scotty and Scotty and Rahm. Guess what? As long as you have those pieces, you know, obviously you need 4 more golfers to put in your lineup in order to, you know, hit something big. But again, my week was pretty good. And I think it had a lot to do with the winner take alls that I had that had Scotty and John Rahm in them together. They also had other golfers in them. It was Scotty and some other guys. And I think I had one non-Scotty lineup win me $50. So there are many different ways you can do this. All of the ways that I do it follow the sweet spot process using the optimizer. So that's something you guys can do as well. So yeah, that was a review of the PGA Championship. I don't really have to talk more about it. It's reviewing the sweet spot process for the PGA Championship. It's not really reviewing the PGA Championship. But yeah, Scotty cleaned up like we figured he would. So that is the end of the review. Before we get into the bucket system for the Charles Schwab, are there any questions? Anything up there? Oh, was your daughter Joanne? Her back is messed up? Okay, she'll be okay. That's good to know. Good to know. Okay. Let's move on. Let's move on to the bucket system for the Charles Schwab Challenge. Like I do every single week, I only like to look at the anchor buckets because it saves time. I still try to explain to you guys how to use the bucket system in case you don't know. And let me zoom in just a little bit just to make it a little easier for you guys to see. Now, you can find the bucket system on the cheat sheet. So again, if you go to SweetSpotDFS.com and go to cheat sheet, scroll down a little bit until you find the cheat sheet right here, and then click here. This will bring you to the Google sheet that I provide for everyone. And there are tabs at the bottom. One of them says bucket system. Check out the bucket system. This is exactly the same one that I will be talking about on my spreadsheet. So this is for the public. I have my own right here, but the projections are the same. And how you read them, I just went over this with the review, but just a quick, reminder. We want to round down with the minimum projection. The one that says min proj, min P-R-O-J, round down. So this one this one equals 1.34, but when we round down, it goes to 1. For the max projection, we want to round up. So 2.24 rounds up to 3. So technically that projection is 1 to 3. But I'm going to be transparent with you guys. There aren't a lot of golfers in it. There's not always is there a golfer that represents from that bucket that is in the optimal lineup. Same goes with top 5 finishes. Scotty Scheffler's in this bucket. And I think just him alone makes that a 1. But me being transparent, I'm telling you this right now, on my optimizer, I have it set as 0 to 3. That has a lot to do with my knowledge and just every single week going over the sweet spot process, every single week following the sweet spot process. I know this number, 2.24, is low enough to be concerned that perhaps one golfer might not come from this bucket to be inside the top 10 or in the optimal lineup. And even on the cheat sheet, I do have this other max projection column over here. It's in purple. It's under miscellaneous information. I call this the conservative max projection. So really what this does is I think it takes into account the draft or the strength of field points. Oh, no, I'm sorry. It takes into account the sweet spot score for every golfer that's in the field or every golfer that's in that bucket. It takes into account the sweet spot score and it compares it to the rest of the buckets that are in that stat category. So this very first stat bucket I'm looking at is called the last year bucket. There are 6 buckets. So that last year stat has 6 buckets. And when it comes to the max projection that includes all of the sweet spot scores, they're pretty darn close to being the same for their max, which to me waters it down a little bit. Now I keep the maximum at 3 because that's correct. I should keep it at 3. So anyways, this very first bucket's 1 to 3 for your projection. That's how you read it. Now, when you get down to a bucket like this, the last year 5 bucket, this one's pretty simple too. You do want to round down to 1, but you can round up to 4. So that bucket is a 1 to 4, and this is last year bucket 5. Now, when I go into the conditionals here, you can see the last year bucket 5, I have the conditional set to 1 to 4. So basically, Optimizer is going to make sure it chooses 1 golfer from this bucket and up to 4 maximum. So just throwing that out there. One last thing to teach you guys with the bucket system. This bucket here for last year 3s, you can see that the minimum projection is 0.48 and the maximum is 0.80. So when you round down from 0.48, you get 0. And when you round up from 0.80, you get 1. Well, I want a 2-point buffer at all times. At all times, a 2-point buffer between the minimum and the maximum. So this would be a 0 to 2 bucket. The only time that doesn't work out is if there are 2 golfers in that bucket, which I can tell you right now, this is Scottie Scheffler. Scottie Scheffler is definitely in this recent Form 1 bucket. Who else is? Danny Berger. And you know what? This is where you use your eyeballs and your brain and you determine, you know what? There could be 2 golfers from this bucket to finish inside the top 10. And so therefore I left it at 0 to 2. Now what I was about to tell you guys is I will only put that to 0 to 1 in most cases because 2 golfers is not enough. And this is mostly a volume driven game. Anything can happen. Each one of these golfers is good enough to win a tournament. And they're obviously good enough to finish inside the top 5, top 10, top 20 and pay off their price tag or, you know, perform well enough to be in the sweet spot optimal, the optimal, or even a GPP winning lineup and not be a part of this bucket. So throwing that out there. And so those are the only 2 pieces to tell you on how to read the bucket system. Now what I like to do is I like to go into this year under bucket totals. And really, I just want to find buckets that are less than or equal to 25. This helps out the video not be as long. So this trims down the buckets quite a bit. Now the second piece that I want is in this column, the max projection. I want this greater than or equal to 2. Just make it simple, greater than or equal to 2. And now we are left with these 6 buckets. Now these are what I call anchor buckets, but technically anything that's greater than 2. So if I take off this filter, these are technically all of the anchor buckets. There are 16 anchor buckets, but for this video, I trim it down because if we look at those other buckets that have a ton of golfers in it, that just becomes a volume driven bucket. And then that means we got to talk about a lot of golfers. So the very first anchor bucket is the last year 1s. Now I told you already, I changed this to 0 to 3. So technically this is not an anchor bucket, but here, let's take a look at these golfers anyways. So basically you just go find the column you want to look at, put in the filter, clear this, I should say, and then go to just select the 1 under the conditionals. And here are all the golfers we want to look at. There are 17 of them. You have the past champ in Davis Riley. He won the tournament last year. And then you have Scottie Scheffler. Now this bucket projection is 1 to 3. We want to find 1 to 3 golfers to put from here into our lineups. You know what? I'm going to retract that statement. I am predicting or projecting 1 to 3 golfers from this bucket to be inside the top 10. Now, I've said this before, I'll say it again. Sometimes when there are expensive golfers in a particular bucket, you have to just use your brain and go, well, even if there are 4 or 5 golfers from this bucket to finish inside the top 10, which is what we want, you might not be able to play 2 of them because they're too expensive. So take this scenario into account. Let's say Scottie wins the tournament at $13,700. and Mav McNeely finishes 5th. Well, that's not a bad start as long as you have your other 4 pieces that are, that do well enough to net you some money. But for the optimal or the sweet spot optimal, Mav McNeely might be too expensive when Scottie Scheffler wins the tournament. So that's another thing you got to think about. He might be too expensive. And so this bucket says 1 to 3 for the projection. And in my mind, it tells me like, oh, find up to 3 golfers that you like. Well, what I've learned over the years, you got to use your brain. You got to use your brain to be like, yeah, there could be 3 guys that do finish in that top 10. I like a lot of these golfers, but, in the case that Scotty, Maverick, JT finish 1, 2, 3, I'm most likely not able to play all 3 of them. I have no idea. I have not done the math on something like this right now. I guess I see it down at the bottom. It says 32,600. So technically you can still, no, you can't. Nope. Oh yeah. No. It's a lineup of 6. So you need 3 other golfers, and the stone min is $6K. That's $18,000. So this would be $600 over the price tag. So let's just pretend those are your 3 golfers that do finish inside the top 10. Can't play them all because Scottie Scheffler is there. What if it was like JT Poston and say Davis Riley? This is where you can put 3 min 6K golfers. You're not going to win a tournament that way. You might min cash. Maybe one of those guys finishes that makes the cut, but I bet you anything the other 2 won't. And again, it's min 6K. We're talking about Corey Pavin, Michael Block, golfers that are not good or decent to put into your lineup. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. This is something I've learned the hard way by blindly going 1 to 3. Yeah, no, I like Scotty. This is a really good bucket. I think 3 golfers are going to actually finish inside the top 10. So I need to find myself 3 golfers. Which ones do I like the best? I like Hayden Buckley, so I'll put Hayden Buckley in my lineup and Toasty. There we go. I got my 3 right there. It's like, were those the 3 best golfers you could have chose? Or were those 3 golfers you chose because you like Scottie Scheffler so much that you force yourself to pick 3? That's something you just got to keep in mind. Keep that in mind. Okay, so going back, last week ones, we want nearly the same thing. And I think, again, we'll take a look. Scottie Scheffler is in that bucket. And he's with JT Poston, who was also in the bucket we were just looking at, the last year 1 bucket. But then we have a slew of these other golfers. Davis Riley was also in that bucket that we were just talking about. This one's a little different, but still kind of the same. We actually don't even have that much forgiveness for pricing if we think Scottie Scheffler is going to win this event. But if we were to go 10-9-8, 7-7-6, or even, again, there are only 2 10K golfers. So we can even go 9-9-9 if we wanted to. I don't suggest it, but we could. But if you were to go 9-9-9 and then go from there, build lineups, at least you do have 3 9K golfers, but maybe these aren't the 3 that you want. Maybe you do want JT Poston. Maybe you want Harris English to put in your lineup. Well, you could probably put Ryan Gerard. And at this point, this level, you could probably put a 4th guy if you truly think a 4th guy could be inside the top 10. Now, personally, I stick to the bucket projections. I don't want more than 3 golfers in my lineup from this bucket. But you could, at home, only select 4. So just throwing that out there. Yeah, I wouldn't suggest it, but you certainly could. Okay. Moving on to the next bucket, course history 2s. Again, you see all of these are nearly the same. I will say this, there's one true anchor bucket from all of this, and that's the strokes gained 1 bucket. That's it. That's the only true anchor bucket. So just throwing that out there. And I actually just noticed the time. I'm way over the roll call. We'll do that here soon. So here's what I have on the optimizer. You see the conditionals right here. So when I bring this down, technically last year 1, last week 1, course history 2, those 3 buckets should be anchor buckets. And when I pull this up, last year 1, I have 0 to 3. Last week 1, I have 0 to 3. And when it comes to recent form, Which one are we looking at? Oh, no. That's it. Course history 2 is what I want to look at. Course history 2 is also 0 to 3. So personally, I am not making sure I select one golfer from those buckets. Instead, why I'm not doing that, if this bucket's so good, I want the golfers in them to find their way onto lineups with the optimizer. So I know last week 1 and last year 1, those are going to be pretty heavily dominated with Scotty Scheffler lineups. Recent form, not recent form, course history 2, let's take a look at who those golfers are. If it's Scotty Scheffler, again, I mean, it's like, there you go. That's the easiest thing to do. And it is Scotty Scheffler. Scotty Scheffler's in this bucket. Yeah, Scotty Scheffler's in this bucket. There are 16 other golfers besides Scheffler in this bucket. And this is actually more friendly priced. So Matt Kuchar was showing up in the optimizer quite a bit in the middle of this video or the beginning of this video. We could go there. I don't know if I want to. Yeah, there's a lot of 7K golfers and below that I think are just fine. Just fine. Okay. So that's how you would do the anchor buckets. So you guys can do this using the cheat sheet. Again, the cheat sheet's free. It's available for everybody. Available for everybody. Find it in the description. It's going to say go to SweetSpotDFS.com, which you're going to have to in order to get the cheat sheet and take a look. All right. That is it for the bucket system. We're going to do a roll call right now. How about this? Let's give DGen his due and just put in your favorite quote, your favorite thing from DGen, or put in DGen 75, put in James, whatever you want. Let's pay homage to James, and we'll do we'll add this to the roll call. Roll call number 1. And then we're going to get into the Marquee Tee Times and then start building lineups. Hey, new guy. I would yellow Donkey Chonk, but I'd probably wake up the neighbors next to me. Yeah, we don't play Donkey Chonk unless we do. Tim Tulo, what's going on, man? Joanne. Yeah, you Florida people, you care about your weather, don't you? Meanwhile, here in Minnesota, we went from 90 degrees one day to 45 degrees the next day. Be thankful you don't live here. We get used to this kind of stuff. Okay. Well, anybody that's coming in, let's put it this way. If you're behind in the schedule, or if you're behind in the stream, I should say, not the schedule, but in the stream, if you saw everybody typing 30 minutes ago, 20 minutes ago, 10 minutes ago, hit the live button somewhere down there. Make sure you're live. Good luck on your T-Wolves. You know what? You just prompted me to take a look. I have no idea how they're doing. Oh, it was just showed me, dang it. Distractions. Oh boy. Thunder, I saw the T-Wolves go up in the first quarter, and now they are losing. That's a bummer. All right, let's not keep looking at that because I will get OKC's on a run. Bummer. In Michigan is the same. Wheels up. Yeah. Freezing here in Delaware. All right, so I know you guys came in late. I'm not going to ask you to do the thing. Okay. That's roll call 1. Let's get into the Marquee Tee Times. Easy peasy. So you guys can follow along with me doing the Marquee Tee Times by going to the cheat sheet. And under group rank, I think it's column O for you guys. Just go ahead and sort that from A to Z. A to Z will get you the top groups in the field. And these are the top 9 groups in the field to be exact. So I'm highlighting them every third golfer because these guys are in the same group together. And if you're wondering why I go over this, we have seen this since the 2022 PGA Championship, though the PGA Championship that Phil Mickelson won. Every single time that I've covered the Marquee Tee Times, over 90% of the time, 2 to 4 golfers from the Marquee Tee Times are in the optimal lineup. And of that over 90%, I don't know the exact number. It's like 95% of those lineups have golfers that don't play together in a lineup or in a group. So what I mean by that is they're not paired up. So this very first group where we have Scheffler, Danny Berger, and Davis Riley, you wouldn't see more than one of those guys in the optimal lineup, or even in the SweetSpot Optimal. The SweetSpot Optimal follows these rules very strictly. So you'd want to choose one out of the 3 golfers. Don't choose 2, just choose 1. And I know Daniel Berger is going to be somewhat popular, and he's probably going to be paired up with Scheffler. Those lineups to me are already dead. There's a chance, yeah, depending on contest selection, if it's a low field, there's a potential that you could still win money going with Scotty and Berger or Scotty and Riley, or hell, maybe all 3 of them. Probably unlikely, but it might be possible. I think you still choose one of these golfers. If you're trying to take down a GPP, you take one of those golfers. So group 1, again, Scotty, Danny Berger, Davis Riley. Group 2, now just based off of the ranking over here on the left, if you add those numbers, it's lower than if you add these numbers. But because Scotty Scheffler is such a beast, his score is so high, he brings everybody else up in his group. And therefore, his group is number 1, whereas the Matsuyama, McNeely, and Brian Harman lineup is group number 2. But just letting you guys know, they were group 1 before I looked at the score. When I looked at the total score between all 3 golfers in each of these groups, the Scheffler lineup comes up top. Now, again, you still only want to select 1 golfer from here. So Matsuyama at 96, McNeely at 95, or Brian Harman at 85. This is a pretty good Brian Harman golf course. So I have no issue going to Brian Harman if you wanted to fade McNeely or Matsuyama. I don't have an issue with either. You know, I like all 3 of them in a lineup together with, say, Scotty. Like, I got no issue. And that's what I was going to do earlier when I was trying to find a Scotty lineup with a 9K golfer in it. Could it work out? Yeah, it might. It could. It's not impossible. So I think that's what I want to explore when it comes to building lineups. The next group, group 3, JT Poston, Harris English, and Siwoo Kim. I don't mind any of them. They're all pretty expensive. Personally, I have this feeling that maybe Harris English isn't the best play out of the group. Siwoo Kim, I think the belief has to be, does a high-paced electric tournament for Siwoo, made a hole-in-one, ended up finishing 4th. He was in the second to last group, third to last group. I think he was second to last group with John Rahm. Like, he was sniffing I think he was in the lead at some point in time. Is that something that could tire him out? You know, could that leave him exhausted? It could. He might be fatigued this week. You never know. So I got no issue going to any three of those golfers, but I like JT Poston the most. If I'm being honest with you guys, I like JT Poston the most. Fleetwood, Spieth, and Chris Kirk. Now, when I told you at the beginning of the stream that 50% of the lineups I built, Scotty Scheffler was in. The other 50%, of the other 50%, I should say, about 40% of them were Tommy Fleetwood lineups. So if you don't, and Tommy Fleetwood is ranked number 2 in my model for this event. Tommy Fleetwood doesn't win tournaments. You know, like he's the biggest lovable loser that we have on tour. He's a big old teddy bear. He's golfing Jesus, you know, all whatever you want to nickname him. I think it's difficult to dislike Tommy Fleetwood unless you just have an issue with how he looks, because he's a pretty decent dude, pretty nice guy, I should say. He just doesn't win much, so maybe that's why you don't like him. But Jordan Spieth, the Texas event, you would think he cares a lot about this event. What's his course history, I wonder? I feel like this is one of these Texas events he's not very good at. He's very good at this one. His average finishing position for his whole career is 17th. 17.25. So this could, hey, if you're not, let's kind of start a hypothetical lineup that does not start with Scotty Scheffler. You could go Danny Berger at 99. I also hate building lineups with 3 9K golfers, but you could maybe go Danny Berger at 93. Actually, you know what? No. Yeah, never mind. Let's go with Danny Berger at 99 and then go down to Brian Harman at 85. And then we play Tommy Fleetwood. So we can do a 10-9-8. Fleetwood, Berger, Harman. We could start a lineup like that. If you wanted to, it's just an idea. You could start a lineup like that. Or you put Jordo in there. Yeah, Berger, Jordan Spieth, Brian Harman. That's a 9-9-8 start. I don't have an issue with that. I don't like 3 9K golfers. Doesn't sound right. I wouldn't want to. But when I tell you guys, start your lineups with a 10-9-8, 7-7-6 approach, and then makes 2 substitutions. Technically, if you sub a 10K golfer down to a 9K golfer, and then sub up an 8K golfer to a 9K golfer where you have 3 9K golfers, that is only 2 substitutions. So you could go 9-9-9, 7-7-6. And that would be a viable lineup that follows the sweet spot process. So totally up to you guys. If that's something you care for, there you go. Lovely. Okay. The next group 5 is Mitchell, Tom Kim, and Ricky Fowler. Small hands Tom Kim is right back into the doghouse of small hands. He is at the carnival of small hands. I'm not going to trust that guy. I just don't. Does he have good course history here? He does. He has 1 finish. That was last year. It was 24th. Okay, so whatever. Yeah, he's just not good. He has not been good. Last week, he finished 71st place. And his average finishing position over the last 7 weeks is 69.40. Sorry. That's a fat finger. I misclicked there. Geez, that is awful. 69.4? That's his average finishing position. No, thank you. Again, we are right here. Sorry about that. Nah, I'm cool. I wouldn't want to go to Tom Kim. And Keith Mitchell, I think, is just fine. I think that's just fine. Keith Mitchell's is good. Next group is Lucas Glover, Mackenzie Hughes, and Johnny Vegas. I don't have an issue with any of them. They're all pretty reasonably priced. Johnny Vegas has been showing up on the optimizer a ton. I don't know how I feel about it. Personally, there's a part of me that believes Johnny Vegas, he obviously can win at any given time. What was it, 2 years ago at the 3M Open he won? Like, that didn't seem like you could forecast that. So and he just played well at the PGA Championship. So I don't know. I don't know what to do with Johnny Vegas. Maybe he turned his game around and maybe he's just playing some good golf. Next group is Bobby Mack, Andrew Novak, and Akshay Bhatia. Now, I don't know what's going on with Akshay. I'm a firm believer of talent, and I think Akshay has a ton of talent. I have no issue playing Akshay Bhatia. None of the three golfers highlighted, McIntyre, Novak, Bhatia, have good course history here. Yeah, two of them are coming in with a cut from last year. That's Novak and Bhatia. And when it comes to recent form, the only golfer that's actually performing decent, or that has been performing decent, is Andrew Novak. The other two golfers have been playing miserably. But if you believe everything regresses back to the mean, we would be in store for a bounce back for either Bhatia or McIntyre. So it's up to you, whatever you guys believe. I think talent rings through, and that's why I like Bhatia. I like Bhatia more than I like McIntyre, but I like that group in general. Reasonably be priced, and yeah, no issues there. Next group is JJ Spaun, Gary Woodland, and Cam Davis. Gary Woodland seemed to have had some control over his game last week, and it looked promising, but then it didn't. Like, he just couldn't stop with the big mistakes. He made a snowman. I think it was on a par 4. It could be maybe it was a par 5. Yeah, it was a par 5. Like, he had a string of pars. It was like 7 straight pars, and then he got to a par 5, or it was 6 straight pars, he got to a par 5, made an 8, and then continued on, I think, for the rest of the round to shoot shoot 1 or 2 under or something like that. But he still missed the cut because he had shot three over the day before. So it's close. I think I'd want Gary Woodland to make a few more birdies before I felt really comfortable playing him, and I don't think this is a really good golf course to do that. Now, I guess there is an argument you could make that if you think that the grinded out par type of golfers are a better fit for this course, then that's where I could hear an argument for Gary Woodland, but I'm going to stay away. JJ Spaun did he win this tournament? He won one of the Texas events. Maybe it wasn't this one. JJ Spaun. Let me take a look. Spaun. JJ has not won this event. Actually hasn't even played well at this event. 85th, 63rd withdraw. Missed cut in 2018 and a withdraw in 2017. Yeah, okay. No. I'm cool. I don't need to play JJ Spaun. I don't even like the guy. I just thought maybe this would be a good time to play him. Now, whatever. Probably stay away from him. And Cam Davis, I don't mind playing Cam Davis. I think he was just in the optimal last week, or the sweet spot optimal, one of the two. Yeah, Cam Davis is pretty good. Sam Stevens, Jacob Bridgman, and Mac Meisner. I like all three of these guys, and I don't mind playing any one of them in my lineups. I probably like Stevens more than any of the other two, but I don't mind Bridgman. I also don't mind Mac Meisner. I think that's just fine. So those are your groups. We're going to start building lineups here shortly. So here's what I want to do. I want you guys, if you need to, take a screenshot of this. Find 2 to 4 golfers to build your lineups around, and then give them to me in the chat. Give me 2 to 4 golfers to build your lineups around, and we will start building lineups for people and see what kind of what type of lineup creations we can find. And while we're at it, I'm going to put some music on. A different soundtrack, but you'll recognize some of the songs. Judo went from almost winning the Century GPP to barely being able to get about half of what I put in. That's a bummer. Should I lower the amount I put in? I think it really just comes down to, listen, this is something I wanted to mention at the beginning of the stream. DraftKings did not put out as many contests for this event as they have in the past couple weeks. I have my typical contests that I usually play. I think I'm actually limiting my bankroll this week because of the lack of contests that you can select. I mean, it's pitiful. It's terrible. They don't have any of those winner take all contests anymore. I could be wrong now. I see a bunch of them open up. Okay. I take all of that back. They brought back contests. They were just slow on getting them out. Okay. My prescription to being on a bit of a lull. Here's what I did last week. Normally what I'll end up doing here. I'll throw this up on the screen. So guess it doesn't matter what you guys see. So when it comes to contest selection for me, I'll show you what I've maxed out. So the dime time is maxed. Now what I plan to do is I don't want to spend, so I'm gonna put about $100 into this week. First place prize is 100. I'm going to build 20 unique lineups. This is my dummy lineup, by the way. Just the first lineup that I put together. I'm going to put 20 unique lineups into this contest. And then what you can see right here, actually, I'm going to put 14 into this one. So you'll see that live. I'll put 14 into this pitch and putt. And it says first and second get a $20 pitch and putt ticket. Here's what I do with those contests. I put 7 total lineups in. I can put up to 14 entries into this contest, but because you can only win the top 2 tickets, I will duplicate one of my lineups in there. So again, I'll put 14 entries in, but only 7 lineups. So that means of those 7 lineups are going to be duplicated in this contest, because if I hit, I will get first and second prize. But that only accounts for $40. That's only $40 that I'm getting back of my investment. So if I do it correctly, what I'll end up doing is putting, you know, one of these 7 lineups in other contests. So I could put, you know, this Millie Maker contest right here that I have 1 entry in, which I don't put any more than 1 entry into these Millie Maker contests. If I put, you know, one of these 7 lineups in one of these contests, I believe it's a $25 entry. So now I can just add $25 on top of that grand prize, because most likely if one does well in one contest, they'll do well in other contests. There's a possibility that I make a bit more. So it's really up to you. What do you want to get back? My whole goal when playing this is to at least get my money back. At least get my money back. So if I scroll down here, and you can see I maxed out the quarter jukebox. The quarter jukebox does not pay very well, $200 for first prize, but that will double my investment. It'll double my investment. These are my money makers right here. These winner take alls. I max these out all the time. And so when I put together contests, or when I enter these contests, I will have 1 lineup in this contest as well as this contest. So if I take that down, I'll win $100. If I take one down, I'll most likely take the other one down and I'll win $100. Now you can see I maxed out 7. You get 7 entries. I maxed it out. So I do that for each of these contests. I will put 1 lineup into 2 of these contests, and I'll just mix and match. So I don't have the same lineup in the same contest I have the same lineup in different contests to maximize my profit, to maximize my return. So a lot of times when I'm building lineups, you know, they will start, you know, let's say, I want to zoom in. Fine. What I'll end up doing is I'll build a lineup around, say, Scotty Scheffler. Let's say I put a lineup with Scotty Scheffler in it, and I pair him up with, say, Aaron Rai, since that was showing up quite a bit. Well, when I build those lineups, the optimizer will come down here and maybe you'll select Ryo Hosetsune. Looks like it's going to select Johnny Vegas because Johnny Vegas has such a big point total. But let's just say it's Ryo and Jake Knapp, like I had already built a lineup around, and say Nico Echeverria. No, we need some 6K golfers. Let's say Isaiah Salinda and Henrik Norlander. So 69, 68. So it's like it picks those 6 golfers the first lineup. The second lineup, what it's going to do is it's not going to put Isaiah Salinda and Henrik Norlander in a lineup. Instead, it might put Ricky Castillo and Andrew Putnam in a lineup together. Now, it will keep that core 4 from above. Now, I'm not purposely building lineups like this. This is just what the optimizer will do. So that those lineups are very similar. And if, say, 2 or 3 of these guys up here that are being anchored around finish inside the top 10 of this week's contest or this week's event, I'm going to win 4 of those contests. But I'm going to have 2 different golfers, and maybe I'll even have 3 different golfers. It really just depends on how the optimizer builds lineups for me. But I don't like consciously put the lineups in, you know, to do just that. I mix, like I completely randomize all of my lineups and I throw them all in all of these contests. Now, again, for these ones, I make sure to put one lineup in 2 contests to make sure I get $100 back. If I do win, that will pay for my week. So imagine this. How many lineups do I have reserved right now? 162. I have 162 entries currently reserved. I'm going to build probably 130 lineups. 32 of them will be just mix and match. Not so much mix and match, but 32 of those lineups will be in several contests at the same time, trying to maximize my return. And like I said, these are my money makers. These contests right here, these winner take all, they give me back my entry fee. It allows me to put in 69 lineups here under the mini-max. I only put that much in there because there were no other contests available. So I just felt like, well, if I want to build over 100 lineups, I might as well just put them in here because it's the easiest way to dump, you know, lineups in and not being too expensive. I still care about how much money I spend, but that's not too expensive. And then the other one that I like to do is the 100 or the 1K winner take all right here. And look at this, my other favorite contest, winner take all in the $500. I don't think I actually reserved these ones up here. So I'll hit submit. I'm going to add 31 to the total. So I'm going to have 193. Again, that's only going to be like 140 lineups, maybe 150 lineups. But they're all going to be unique. They're all going to be different. So hopefully that helps. And when it comes down to when I'm having a struggle, last week, so I'll say this, last week, I didn't duplicate any of my lineups. I had strictly all unique lineups. And that's because I didn't know what the hell to do. I didn't know what to do. I didn't have a fun core or a duo that I wanted to build several lineups around. All I did was I spread the love. I shotgun approached that one. And again, I made my money back and then some. So a lot of times it's just maybe getting lucky with putting a lineup in the correct contest. But if you're one of those that only builds one lineup and puts it into the Millie Maker, whatever, I don't know how you do it. it'd be so difficult for me not to get super personal with my lineup, where I want to pick the golfers that I care about the most and put them into the contests I care about the most. Like, I don't know how you do it. I need to build unique lineups and not be married to any of my lineups. I have to be. And by the way, before DraftKings gets mad at me and says that I'm trying to give you guys tips on where to put your contests, this dummy lineup will not be in any of the lineups that you just saw me put it in. This will be put into a special contest that I am not going to tell you which one. I like to keep track of my dummy lineup to see how well it does. But I do not trust my dummy lineup because it doesn't follow my process. This is just my first look lineup that I'm just like, I like this lineup the most out of the other lineups that I built. And I just want to see how it does. My dummy lineup has never done more than min cash. Let's put it that way. It's never done more than min cash. So my eyeballs aren't as good as my process. Throwing that out there. Okay. Let's go back to here. Back here. And if you guys, I hope you guys all had a chance. Okay. So AJ Love, you were the first person. I'm going to pin your message to the top. And he wants Riley and English. $8,600 Davis Riley. $9,200 Harris English. Okay. I'm going to bring this here and I'm going to put the timer back up on the screen. Or I'm going to put the timer on the screen. Here we go. AJ, we're building your lamps right now. Hey, what's going on, Sky Harris? Nice to see you. Your first lineup is Hideki Matsuyama, Harris English, Davis Riley, Bud Cauley, Max Grazerman, and Johnny Vegas. Yeah, sign me up, man. That's a great lineup. Next one is Tommy Fleetwood, Harris English, Davis Riley, Ryan Gerard, Eric Cole, and Isaiah Salinda. I love that lineup too. By the way, I'm not doing 100% exposure unless it breaks on me, and I have to. So we're going to roll out with this and just see what it does. Harris English, Aaron Rye, Davis Riley, Brian Harman, Mac Hughes, and EVR. I like that one. Next lineup is Harris English, Ben Griffin, Davis Riley, JJ Spawn, Alex Smalley, and Tom Hoagie. That's a really good lineup too. Next one after that is Tommy Fleetwood, Harris English, Davis Riley, Harry Hall, Patrick Rogers, and Michael Torbjornsson. Torbjornsson. Love it. Hideki, Harris English, Davis Riley, Novak, Kitayama, and Matt Kuchar. Hey man, if you like Cooch, not a terrible week to play him. Lineup after that is Harris English, Aaron Rye, Davis Thompson, Davis Riley, Tom Kim, Vince Whaley. Very balanced on that one. Solid. Next one we get is Harris English, Ben Griffin, Davis Riley, Brian Harman, Sam Stevens, and Rio, the Assassin. I actually really like this lineup. Harman, Stevens, and Assassin. Not terrible. It's a really good lineup. Really good lineup. I like this lineup too. 1098, 776, baby. Tommy Fleetwood, Harris English, Davis Riley, Ryan Gerard, Max Grazerman, and Matty Schmid. How about this? Let's mute this and play one of these jams. It's a good lineup, dude. I like that lineup a lot. And the last lineup here is Harris English, Davis Thompson, Davis Riley, Harry Hall, Bud Cauley, and Small Hands Tom Kim. Here, let me give you a little bonus one just in case you don't like Tom Kim. This one is Decky, English, Riley, JJ Spawn, Eric Cole, and Victor Perez. That's a great lineup. I like that one. That one's pretty good. I'm going to delete it, but I do like that one quite a bit. Okay. Those were lineups for Mr. AJ Love. AJ Love's got the black badge now. That's pretty sweet. All right. So next one, Philip. What did you give me? You went, oh, Sleuth. And you meant Spieth. That's a great Freudian slip right there. Meisner, Glover, and Spieth. The Sleuth, Jordan Spieth. You lint liquor, Lucas Glover. And then what price tag was Mr. Meisner at? There he is. Group 9. Okay. Probably need to give him a little bit of a boost, so let's go ahead and do that. And here we go. We're gonna go off to the races. Okay. First lineup is Spieth, Mav McNeely, Michael Kim, Lucas Glover, Eric Cole, and Meisner. Oh, what a lineup. That one's good. And then we break. Okay. That might have to do with the fact that our exposure is a little strict. Don't mind me. I told you that we're going to keep our exposures pretty tame, but I think what I need to do is put it like this. I think we exhausted all the high-priced golfers, so we'll just have to do this. Good Lord. All right, so now that we updated that, we have Danny Berger, Jordan Spieth, Lucas Glover, Ryan Gerard, Taylor Moore, and Mac Meisner. Not bad. Next one after that is Jordan Spieth, Aaron Rai, Ben Griffin, Lucas Glover, Cam Davis, and Mac Meisner. Yeah, I like that lineup a lot as well. Probably build the same. Oh, no. Yeah, we do. Okay. Lucas Glover is a low price. Let's bump Lucas Glover up a little bit. All right. New lineup. Jordan Spieth, Robert McIntyre, Lucas Glover, Harry Hall, Max Grazerman, and Mac Meisner. Yeah, sign me up. What a good lineup. Jordan Spieth, Aaron Rai, Novak, Glover, Smalley, and Meisner. Yeah, sign me up. That's a sweet lineup. Alex Smalley? Yeah. I think he's poised, man. Jordan Spieth, Aaron Rai, Ben Griffin, Lucas Glover, Gary Woodland, and Mac Meisner. No issues with that lineup. New lineup actually just adds Patrick Rogers. I forget who he replaced, but I don't mind it. Okay, so we kind of have a core of 4 or a core of 5. Spieth, Rai, Griffin, Glover, Hoey, and Mac Meisner. We see the same one here. I'll make sure I update it to be different. Ooh, Jake Knapp though. That's a good lineup too. Actually, I honestly don't have an issue with this. Personally, I don't have an issue with this combo of golfers. Pretty good. And then here, we change it a little bit. We get Spieth, McNeely, Glover, Hall, Grillo, and Mac Meisner. Not bad. Not bad for the last lineup. That came just in time. Those were 10 lineups for you, Philip Hall. Moving on. Trey wants Siwoo, McNeely, Poston, and Mitchell. Oof. Going really strict with that one. I'm going to bump these guys down to their original prices. Or original scores. Siwoo Kim, there he is. Siwoo McNeely. JT Poston. Oof, going real strict here. And Keith? 3 9Ks. All right, well, I did say you could do 3 9Ks. The oh, the optimizer does let 3 9Ks happen. Oh, I was forcing a 9K. Uh-oh. Maybe that's why no Scotty lineups were happening in the other ones, but maybe not. I'm not sure. Okay, here we go. Trey, you are on the board, sir. Or timer's on the board. We actually break it. McNeely, Poston, Mitchell, Siwoo, Alejandro Tosti, and Ryan Palmer. Okay. I think that has a lot to do with how expensive your golfers are. And the SweetSpot process does want us to select a 7K golfer, but we can update that to... You could only have one. Would you go with Poston or Spieth this week? I'd go with Poston. Even with this, it breaks. Okay, so Trey, if you are in the chat, one of these 3 golfers, McNeely, Poston, or Mitchell, needs to go, in my opinion. Oh, you know what? We have Siwoo and JT Poston in a lineup together, and they're grouped up together. That can't happen. So it's one of those 2 guys. You gotta get rid of one of those 2. Poston? Okay. This will work out now. This will be fine. I'll reset the timer. Here we go. And now we go McNeely, Mitchell, Siwoo, Gerard, Cole, Cammy Boy Davis. I don't mind it. Pretty good. Philip, you are welcome. McNeely, Mitchell, Siwoo, Gerard, Grazerman, Hoey. That's a sweet lineup. I like that lineup quite a bit. That's a 998777. So is this one. And this one is the same 4, but now we get Bridgman and Eric Cole, which no issues there. We add in Toasty, which I think is a great lineup, like a great substitution. And now we have 3 new guys: McNeely, Mitchell, Siwoo, Harry Hall. Oh, Gerard is not new. Gerard is just stuck there. Do you like Ryan Gerard that much? Do you want me to kick Gerard out? He just got the boot. McNeely, Mitchell, Siwoo, Harry Hall, Max Grazerman, and Max McGreevy. Hey, man, I do like Max McGreevy. Probably more than I like Max Grazerman. This lineup is solid, too. Holy moly, this is a really good lineup. Matt McNeely, Keith Mitchell, Siwoo, Grazerman, Stevens, and Eric Cole. Hey, you know what? Let's do one of these guys. Pretty good lineup. Pretty good. Did I save it? I did. Okay. McNeely, Mitchell, Kim, Gerard Smalley, and Michael Thorbjornsen. Sign me up. Ooh. Another good one, man. McNeely, Mitchell, Siwoo, Harry Hall, Gerard, Hayden Springer. I don't hate it. Don't love it, but I don't hate it. Then we get McNeely, Mitchell, Siwoo, Gerard, Grazerman, and Andrew Putnam. Sign me up. You know what? I'll give you one of these. Pretty awesome, man. Love that lineup. Okay. Those were 10 lineups for Trey. Let's move on. John Bizzle. John, are you here? You want Scotty, JJ, and Charlie Hoffman? Woo! You are fighting with fire, John. Fighting with fire, Scotty, JJ. And the Charlie Hoffman. Where you at, Charlie? Show yourself. There he is. All right, let's give him a little bit of a boost. A boost. Everyone else looks pretty good. Ooh, the Timberwolves got throttled. Damn, dude, T-Wolves were winning at half. And they had a good shooting game. Maybe not Ant, but Julius Randle had a good shooting game. Ooh, Alexander Walker, 3 for 11, 2 for 9. DiVincenzo, oh my God, guys, holy. Naz Reid, oh, 0 for 7 from 3. Yikes. Buzz, your girlfriend, oof. I'm here, but I changed my line to Scotty in Vegas. Oh, okay. Okay. Scotty in Vegas. You can take back that Buzz your girlfriend comment. Johnny of Vegas. Okay, here we go. Timer is on the screen. And we get Scheffler, Hall, Grazerman, Vegas, Thorbjornsen, and Patrick Fishburne. I don't hate it. I don't hate it. Lauer instead of Fishburne. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm just going to slowly remove people like Harry Hall. No, Harry Hall is just a model darling. He's not going to show. There's no reason to play him that much. So I'm going to kick out these guys slowly. Hey, look, you get Hoffman here with Steven Fisk. That's not terrible. Gerard, Grazerman, and Vegas. No issues with that at all. Ooh, we get Bud Colley, Grazerman, Vegas, Jesper Svensson, and Victor Perez. Sign me up. You deserve one of these. This is pretty good, dude. I like that lineup a lot. I actually might steal that one. Pretty good. New lineup is Gerard, Scheffler, Grazerman, Vegas, Henrik Norlander. I really like Henrik this week. Solid. Love it. Scheffler, Colley, Grazerman, Vegas, Celinda, Kuchar. Do you like Max Grazerman that much? I feel like he's going to show up a lot. Let me know. Scheffler, Gerard, Grazerman. Again. How about Ryan Gerard? Do you like him that much? Johnny Vegas, Victor Perez, and EVR. Yeah, I like that lineup too. Nope. You don't like Max Grazerman. Okay. So Max Grazerman was how much? 76? Okay. We go again. Like Ryan. Nope, I do like Ryan. What? Rule of thumb moving forward. It's like what Byron said in his podcast. You need to provide context. I don't know what those mean. No, I do like Ryan. Ryan Gerard. You like Gerard. Okay. Scheffler, Griffin, Vegas, Thorbjornsen, Whaley, and Schmid. Interesting. Okay. Not terrible. Could do worse. Scheffler, Griffin, Vegas, Thorbjornsen, McGreevy, and Chandler Phillips. I like that lineup a lot. I'm not a fan of putting price tags together, but these golfers are good. Like, I got no issue playing either of them. Scheffler, Harmon, Vegas, Thorbjornsen, Charlie Hoffman, and Bo Hosler. There you go. There's your all Texas lineup. You know what? Let's make that one burnt orange. Not so much Harmon, or Thorbjornsen, but we got Chuck Hoffman in there and Bo Hosler. Chuck Hoffman didn't go to University of Texas either, but he does well in Texas. Let's just put it that way. Scheffler, JJ Spawn, Eric Cole, Vegas, Thorbjornsen, and Karl Phillips. I will be going back to Karl Phillips. I think he's a great golfer to put in your lineup this week. No issues whatsoever. There we go. All right. Someone went a little bit over, but we had some difficulties. Next one. Lombardi Lee, JT Poston, Sam Ryder, and Hoffman. Oof. Okay. Looks like we are going back to Hoffman. Sam Ryder. Okay. Let's boost him up as well. I'm here. Here we go. We get Fleetwood, Poston, Rye, Grazerman, Hoffman, and Sam Ryder. Okay. Pretty balanced. Not bad. Fleetwood, Poston, Rye, Grazerman, Hoffman, Sam Ryder. That one's pretty good too. Wait, was it the same one? That was the same one. That was the same one. I guess I have to boost up Poston? Like what? Maybe not. Hold on. Let's just kick out Aaron Rye. Easy peasy. Fleetwood, Matsuyama, Poston, Johnny Vegas, Hoffman, Sam Ryder. That one's pretty good. Fleetwood, Matsuyama, Poston, Cole, Hoffman, Sam Ryder. That one's good too. Ooh, Michael Thorbjornsen. Fleetwood, Matsuyama, Poston, Thorbjornsen, Hoffman, Ryder. So not selecting any Scotty Scheffler. Fleetwood, Poston, Mitchell, Grazerman, Hoffman, Sam Ryder. That one's pretty solid. Fleetwood, Poston, Mitchell, Grazerman, Hoffman, and Ryder. Wonder, can I actually make this smaller? I can. And that was a duplicate. Okay, I'm glad I did that because I was not sure. Let's kick out Mitchell. Let's kick out Grazerman, actually. It's a lot of Grazerman happening. Fleetwood, Poston, Mitchell, Gerard, Hoffman, Sam Ryder. In Poston. right, kicking Mitchell out this time. And we get Ben Griffin. Okay. Poston. Ugh. Can't believe he's just low enough where he's just not being selected. Fleetwood, Poston, Griffin, Gerard, Hoffman, and Sam Ryder. Let's kick out Ryan Gerard. Actually, I should kick out Fleetwood. What's going on, Cody Gamble? Fleetwood, Poston, Griffin, Colley, Hoffman, Sam Ryder. Yeah, I'm gonna kick out Fleetwood. Let's see what the optimizer does. We get Danny Berger, Matsuyama, Poston, Hoagie, Charlie Hoffman, and Sam Ryder. That's a good lineup, dude. I like that one quite a bit. Oh, was it? Oh, never mind. Let me do this over again. What the heck? One more. We shall try it again. Oh, never mind. We're good. I'm sorry. I saved that to bump it down. Okay. Oh, no. I do have a duplicate here. What? There we go. This one is not a duplicate with Rio the Assassin. Okay. All right, Lombardi, those were lineups for you. I hope you saw all of them. Wheels up. It says, my three golfers, Tommy Batia and Suber with 0% exposure to Scotty. I think it provides ownership leverage to play a 6K golfer plus include other players around Scotty that I wouldn't be able to afford. Okay. All right. Whoa, out of there. Wheels up. Scotty just won't be picked. I guarantee you Scotty won't be picked. If you're locking in Tommy, Scotty will not be picked. Scotty, Batia, and Suber. Okay. Timer is on the screen. Here we go. 10 lineups. First one, Fleetwood, Matsuyama, Ben Griffin, Batia, Grazerman, and Suber. That's a solid lineup. I like that one a lot. Fleetwood, Matsuyama, Rye, Batia, Cam Davis, and Jackson Suber. Like it. Fleetwood, Matsuyama, Spawn, Batia, Grazerman, Suber. One more Matsuyama lineup, and then we'll kick him. Oh, he was already kicked. Fleetwood, Rye, Thompson, Batia, Grazerman, and Suber. I like that one. Let's kick out Grazerman. The Grease Trap. Fleetwood, Matsuyama, Mitchell, Batia, Eric Cole, and Jackson Suber. No issue with that one at all. Fleetwood, Matsuyama, Rai, Batia, Echeverria, and Jackson Suber. I like this lineup a lot. Echeverria at 7K. I got no issue with that. That one seems solid. Fleetwood, Matsuyama, Rai. Oh, what a lineup. Love it. Love that lineup. Fleetwood, Poston, Rai, Batia, Vegas, Suber. Solid lineup so far, man. You love Max this week too? Okay, I'll take the grease trap back. Fleetwood, Berger, Batia, Harry Hall, Mackenzie Hughes. Sure. I don't like Harry Hall that much, but we'll bring him. We'll allow that to happen and then kick him out. And we go Fleetwood, McNeely, Rye, Batia, Fowler, Mickey Fowler. Okay, solid. And then the last one is Fleetwood, Berger, Batia, Gerard, Alex Smalley, and Suber. Okay, yeah, you got some good lineups here, dude. I'm gonna paint a couple of them. So this last one I absolutely loved. This one was good. Which one did I say I wanted? Oh, it was the one right above it. Fleetwood, Matsuyama, Rai, Batia, Echeverria, Suber. Yeah. Yeah, I like that one. Sure. You are welcome, man. Drop Hall, I would never. We had him in one. You gotta always have the guy you don't like in one of your lineups. Alrighty. I do have more. Scott Harris. Scott, are you in the chat? Okay. Scotty. Scotty doesn't know. Scotty doesn't. So don't tell Scotty. Scotty doesn't know. Scotty doesn't know. Put 100 back on Mr. Poston. You want JT Poston and B Harms. Brian Harmon. I selected him right away. He's looking all over the place. Okay. I don't see a response from Scott, so we'll go ahead and build his lineups. Hopefully you're here, Scott. Here we go. Poston, Rye, Harmon, Collie, Grazerman, and Johnny Vegas. Hey, I don't mind that. Poston, Thompson, Harmon, Hall, Gerard, and Eric Cole. Pretty solid. Love it. Poston, Rye, Harmon, Gerard, Grazerman, Sam Stevens. I like that one too. Solid. I like Sam Stevens this week. Poston, Mitchell, Harmon, Gerard, Grazerman, and Johnny Vegas. I will see one more Grazerman or one more Gerard and then kick him out. And there they both are yet again. Let's redo this one. I'm gonna kick out Grazerman. I don't trust Max Grazerman as much as I trust Ryan Gerard. Poston, Harmon, Spawn, Hall, Mac Hughes, and Tom Hoagie. That one's a good one. One more. Oh, I suppose it doesn't matter. Poston, Harmon, Spawn, Hall, Hughes, and Kitayama. We haven't seen much Kitayama, so I don't mind going to Kitayama. Poston, Harmon, Novak, Hall, Hughes, and Gerard. Okay. First Novak spotting, by the way. I don't hate it. Poston, Mitchell, Harmon, Hall, Gerard, Celinda. I like Celinda. Time to kick out Gerard. That's too much Gerard. Two more lineups. The next one, the nicest of them all. Poston, Rye, Harmon, Hall, Hughes, Thorbjornsen. Sure. Don't hate it. That was number 69. Here we go with the number 70 on the night. Ooh, we get the assassin Rio Hisetsune. Love it. That's a great lineup. Poston, Rye, Harmon, Harry Hall, Mac Hughes, and Rio Hisetsune. Oof. Getting tired, ladies and gentlemen. Getting tired. Okay. Tim Tulos, are you here, sir? He wants Scotty Glover and the Bridgeman. Buying the Bridgeman. Bridgeman. Whoa. Let's give him 100 points. Same with Lucas Licker Glover. All right. Tim is ready. Here we go. Scheffler, Glover, Grazerman, Bridgman, Kuchar, and Hayden Springer. Okay. Different. Ooh, I like this one. Scheffler, Glover, Grazerman, Bridgman, Perez, and Denny Walker. One more Grazerman, and then I'm kicking him off to the side. And there it is. Now we get Vince Whaley and Adam Schenk. Yeah, sign me up. But Grazerman now, you got to go, man. You gots to go. Now it kind of changes it up quite a bit. We get Scheffler, Glover, Bridgman, Hisetsune, Michael Thorbjornsen, and Eric Van Rooyen. That's a great Scotty lineup. 10, 8, 3 7s, and a 6. I love that. Here we go. Some more. Probably watch out how much Rio we have. I don't mind some, but that's enough. Both with Rio and Michael Thorbjornsen. Actually, if there's one that I don't trust, it's Thorbjornsen, then it's Rio. So we'll kick Thorbjornsen out and then Rio next if he shows up, which he does. This is a perfect Scotty lineup. Perfect. Phillips looks good in this lineup. Scheffler, Glover, Bridgman, Cole, Hisetsune, and Carl Phillips. But we are going to kick out Hisetsune. Scheffler, Glover, Bridgman, Cole, Mark Hubbard, Patrick Fishburne. Hey, I don't hate that one. I actually think Mark Hubbard is sneaky. Here we go. Here's a fantastic lineup. Scheffler, Glover, Bridgman, Cam Davis, Echeverria, and Steven Fisk. Yeah, sign me up. I like that one. And we get Scheffler, Glover, Hall, Bridgman, Fishburne, and Lashley. Do we like this one that much? I don't at all. I like the idea of the low 6K, but I don't want Glover and Harry Hall. This one's perfect. I shouldn't say perfect, but this one's good. Okay, yeah, that one suits a lot of these golfers' games. Bridgman and Highsmith are nearly identical. Norlander, yeah, it's pretty good. I think Norlander has a pretty high floor. Maybe not a super high ceiling, but I do like Henrik Norlander this week. Okay. That was Tim. Now we go to Nathan Nathan Johnson, Who wants Berger and Glover? Danny Bergs. Daniel Berger and Lucas Glover. Oh, we just had. Okay, let's go back and back and back. Actually, no. So yes and yes. Get rid of this. Pump that back down. Okay. Nathan, are you here? And are you ready? Starting with or without you? Actually, we're just gonna go right now. Berger Glover. I'm running on fumes, so we're gonna try to we're gonna finish lineups, but then we're gonna wrap it up shortly after. Berger, Harmon, Glover, Harry Hall, Ryan Gerard, and Sam Stevens. That one's not bad. Not bad. Danny Berger, Harmon, Glover, Hall, Gerard, Bridgman. Okay. Think we're getting close to. Yeah, we have the core of 5. Berger, Harmon, Glover, Hall, Gerard, Cam Davis. That's fine. Yes, Nathan, let's find the sweet spot. Berger, Thompson, Glover, Hall, Gerard, and Eric Cole. I like that one too, but now we gotta make some cuts because we're seeing way too much. Davis, Thompson, no thanks. You're the first cut. Next lineup is Berger, Matsuyama, Glover, Harry Hall, Gerard, and Fishburne. Okay. Not bad. Berger, Rye, Glover, Hall, Kitayama, and Ricky Fowler. Sure, sign me up. Berger, Rye, Glover, Hall, Colley, Rogers. Okay. We're going to go ahead and kick out Aaron Rye. Berger, Harmon, Glover, Hall, Gerard, and Gary Woodland? Sure. Sure. Why not have a little bit of Gary Love? That's fine. Berger, Matsuyama, Glover, Harry Hall, Gerard, and Justin Lauer. Hey. You know, Justin Lauer used to be good. Used to. Taylor Moore. Oh, you know what? Sure. This could be like, I personally don't care for Taylor Moore, but it is possible that he might, like, it's possible that he might be the type of golfer when you least expect it to just, you know, crush your expectations of him, and not in a good way. All right, so those were lineups. For Nathan Johnson. Glover and Berger is what he chose to build his lineups around. Do I like any of them? Oh, I didn't know I had that much Harry Hall in your lineups. Jeez. Yeah, you could. Oh God, I'm sorry. I didn't even recognize that. It was Glover and Berger. Let me build you like 3 more and replace those, because though I'm not a big fan. Not a big fan. I don't want that much Harry Hall. Gosh, I didn't even notice, man. Didn't even notice. I saw all the lower price golfers and I just saw them getting kicked out. Berger, Rye, Glover, Gerard, Stevens, and Eric Cole. I like it. Got Aaron Rye here. Berger, Griffin, Glover, Gerard, Colley, Stevens. Okay, so that one was the best one so far. I think I need to kick out. Let's kick out Gerard. Try again. Berger, Matsuyama, Glover, Colley, Cole, and Thorbjornsen. Yep. Okay, those were good substitutions. Yep, those are good substitutions. Okay. We move on from Nathan Johnson 2. Ryan Henderson, who wants Riley, Meisner, and McNeely. Riley, Meisner, and McNeely. I'm saying right. Davis, or what was I saying? Riley, Meisner, McNeely. Okay. All right, here we go. McNeely, Riley, Gerard, Smalley, and Meisner. Ooh, I like that lineup. I'm kicking out Aaron Rye right away. Not bad. I'll come back to him. We'll do a couple of these and then a couple of Gerard or Grazermans. Here we go. This is a good one. Fleetwood, McNeely, Riley, Grazerman, Rogers, Meisner. And let's kick someone out. Max Grazerman's getting the boot. I should actually have booted Rogers. Let's go do that right now. Fleetwood, McNeely, Riley, Hall, Hoey, and Meisner. We'll kick out Hoey this time. We're going to give Meisner a 100-point boost, so we don't have to keep dealing with that. Fleetwood, McNeely, Riley, Hall, Hoey, and Meisner. Oh, we just did that one. We didn't lock in Hoey. Oh, I did. I accidentally did. Gotcha. Rookie. Amateur. Fleetwood, McNeely, Riley, Harry Hall, Gim, and Meisner. Ooh, first Doug Gim spotting. Got to kick out Hall. Yeah, he got kicked out naturally, and we bring in Valimaki. Fleetwood, McNeely, Riley, Gerard, Valimaki, and Meisner. Fleetwood, McNeely, Riley, Moore, Cole, and Meisner. I like that one. That one's solid. Fleetwood, McNeely, Riley, Smalley, Cole, Meisner. Yeah, sign me up for that one too. I'm really digging these lineups. I do like Alex Smalley. Matt McNeely, Bobby Mack, Riley, Gerard, Colley, and Meisner. That one's a super balanced lineup. I like that one. Let's kick somebody else. Let's kick out Ryan Gerard. That's a lot of Gerard. Lots of Gerard tonight, over 30%. Same applies for Lucas Glover. McNeely, Griffin, Riley, Michael, Kim, Bud Colley, Mac Meisner. Sure. Why not? McNeely, Mitchell, Griffin, Riley, McCarty, and Mac Meisner. That's not what, that one's pretty good. That was a good last one right there. Good one for Ryan. Pretty solid. You know what? Did I mess that up? No, you wanted Riley, Meisner, McNeely. Okay, never mind. Okay, so that was Mr. Ryan Henson. And Cody Gamble. I think you're the last one. I don't think there's anyone before you. I think I got all of them. Ryan Henson was the last one. Yep. Who? Cuckoo Kachu. You want Tom Kim, Spawn, and Scotty. Ooh, boy. Talk about going super narrow. Small hands Tom Kim. Don't quite remember his price. I got Hoagie. Where's Kim? Thomas. There he is. Found him. Okay. We're gonna have to give a little bit of a boost to Kim. And probably to Spawn as well, so. Here we go. Scotty 2 bets, just joining. I'll rewind in a bit. How's Scotty plus Max, Grazerman plus Cam Davis? I think we've built some lineups like that, and we can certainly try to build some lineups after this one. Cody, I have you on the clock. Here we go. Oh, Skull. There we go. Or Sko. Let's go. Scheffler, Spawn, Kim, Thorbjornsen, Kuchar, and Lauer. Not, you know, packed with the big punch, but not bad. Scheffler, Spawn, Kim, Isatsune, Phillips, and Fishburne. Sure. Scheffler, Spawn, Kim, Thorbjornsen, Whaley, and Svensson. Okay. Dig in it so far. Scheffler, Spawn, Kim, Thorbjornsen, Max, McGravy, and Chan Kim. I like that lineup a lot. It's a good lineup. If you already have, no stress, I'll go back and listen. I'm not sure if we didn't have those three, but we had lineups with those three in them. But I can build you a few. No problems. We're not going to save the Ryan Palmer one. It's not going to do it. Scheffler, Spawn, Tom Kim, Vegas, Thorbjornsen, and Brandt Snedeker. No, we're not saving the Snedeker lineup. Scheffler, Spawn, Kim, Thorbjornsen, Perez, and Trey Mullinax. I will save that one. I do like Trey Mullinax in Texas. Scheffler, Spawn, Kim, Thorbjornsen, EVR, and Steven Fisk. Yeah, sign me up for that one. It's a 10-8, 2-7s, 2-6s. It's a perfect Scotty lineup. David Lipsky, okay. Scheffler, Spawn, Tom Kim, Thorbjornsen, Celinda, and Lipsky. Let's go. Scheffler, Spawn, Kim, Vegas, Schmid, and Danny Walker. That combo right there has shown up before, so if you were building lines with the optimizer, be careful with those types of combos. Scheffler, Spawn, Kim, Thorbjornsen, Hosler, and Kevin Roy. Sure. Actually, I like that lineup a lot. It's a lot of Thorbjornsen. Was that all of them, Thorbjornsen? Pretty damn close. Okay, let's kick out Thorbjornsen. Frankie Sappin, by the way. This actually might be the week to play Frankie Sappin. You remember Rick Gaiman just giving him a reach around every single time that he talked about Frankie Sappin in the beginning of the year? That didn't pan out very well. And Sappin's a Minnesota guy from Stillwater, Minnesota. Scheffler, Spawn, Kim, Vegas, Echeverria, and Will Gordon. Yeah, sign me up. That's a really good lineup. I like that lineup a lot. And one more for the road. You get Scheffler, Spawn, Kim, Grazerman, Shank, and Harry Higgs. No, I'm cool never playing Harry Higgs again. I don't think he's strong enough mentally, and I don't think he's talented enough. Okay. That was for Cody Gamble. And try this one. Scotty, Max, and Cam Davis. Max, the Grease Trap Grazerman, and Cam Davis. We'll breeze through these as well. Here we go. Scheffler, Hall, Grazerman, Cam Davis, Thorbjornsen, Justin Lauer. We've seen a lineup like that. I'm going to go ahead and recreate a new one. Norlander and Max McGreevy, sign me up. I like that. Harry Hall, not so much. We've been through this before, Harry Hall. Stay in your lane, man. Next lineup is Scheffler, Novak. Oh, I like that beginning. Grazerman, Cam Davis, Vegas, and Brent. Oh, I don't like that, though. Ugh. It feels like we're in the 80s training. Yeah, we've got some synthwave music playing. Scheffler, Gerard, Grazerman, Davis, Svensson, and Putnam. I like that lineup a lot. Scheffler, Gerard, Grazerman, Davis, Svensson, and Joel Damon. Okay, sure. I'm not a huge fan of Joel Damon, but never disrespect a 6K golfer. Scheffler, Gerard, Grazerman, Cam Davis, Svensson, and Svensson. You get Jesper and Adam. Jesper in Swedish means yes. It's not true. Ja is yes in Sweden. Scheffler, Colley, Grazerman, Davis, Hosler, and Fisk. Yeah, sign me up, man. We just get to naturally put in Hosler, a Texas boy. Let's do it. Scheffler, Batia, Grazerman, Davis, Thorbjornsen, and Adam Schenk. Okay. How many Thorbjornsens have we done? A lot of Jesper Svenssons. And Ryan Gerard. So I'm going to kick out Ryan. Try this again. Scheffler, Colley, Grazerman, Davis, Hosler, and Chan Kim. No issues there. Scheffler, Novak, Grazerman, Cam Davis, Thorbjornsen, and David Lipsky. Actually, you know what? No. And I don't want that much Lipsky anyways, but that's so much Thorbjornsen. That's insane. No thanks. This one we have Scheffler, Novak, Grazerman, Davis, Vegas, and Sappin. Sure. Let's kick out. I do really like that Novak start, so let's kick out Johnny Vegas. Scheffler, Batia, Grazerman, Cole, Davis, and Patton Kizzire. Sure. I mean, okay, so just so you know, Patton Kizzire withdrew last week, and Patton Kizzire has been withdrawing this year. I'm not sure what for or why, but he does play well in Texas, so there's that. Scheffler, Batia, Grazerman, Cole, Cam Davis, and Luke Lintlicker List. Sure, and just one more. One more, I just want to see one. Harry Higgs, yeah, that's not the one I want to see. We'll pretend I didn't see it. Will Gordon? Sure. Not terrible. Actually, that one's pretty good. I like that one. We're going to go ahead and, I guess, save this one over. This one. Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I am beat. I got hit with the tired wall so quickly while I was doing this. Johnny Two Bet says solid jams. I like Novak as well. Feels like Jesper is always underpriced. I think those Euro guys will always be underpriced until they finally start performing. Which you never know. So quickly, tomorrow, Wednesday, I go live with YouTube members only videos, which requires you to be a member on the SweetSpotDFS YouTube page. And you have to be a white tier member and above to get access to that. Basically, I will give my final thoughts about lineup building for the Charles Schwab Challenge. we'll dig into 7K combo buckets, and I'll try to dig into some other combo buckets that that might help us choose which golfer we want, or which golfers we want to put in our lineups. So that only comes with a white tier and above. I like Euro price. Run with it. B makes sense. Yeah, I like it too. An honest mistake that could, you know, be a good nickname going forward. So yeah. Joanne, good luck to you as well. I will be live again tomorrow. Final thoughts. You'll see my strategies for building lineups. I'll put more thought into it. Not like I'll put more thought into it than any other year, but for actually building lineups for myself, I'll put a lot of thought into it. I'll have come up with some kind of game plan, and I'll share it with all of you that are members. You could follow it or not. Not a big deal if you do or if you don't. But at least you know what I'll be doing for the week. So if I'm successful, maybe you could be successful. Yeah. That's all that I have for you guys. I'm not going to even hit you with the giveaway reminders. I'm just going to hit you with the thank you screen. And, well, hold on. I'm out. Good luck, everyone. Hi, Eric. Did you solve the optimizer request from landing in your junk folder? I think so. I didn't see a request come into me at all today. But there it is. Yep. I see 2 of them in the spam folder. Why? Can I just like give an option to... I don't understand. I guess not. I guess not. But I see the requests, and I will send them to you. It's that's annoying. Anyways, again, that's all that I have for you guys. So if anything, if you need to reach out to me, email me at sweetspotdfs@gmail.com, or reach out to me on X or Instagram. You can DM me on Instagram. You can DM me X, formerly known as Twitter, and I will get to you that way. And there's the contact information right there for the email. The email right there. Okay, guys, I gotta go. It's my bedtime. I'll see you guys later. Maybe tomorrow, maybe next week. Good luck this week. All right, bye.